Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, from beautiful Municipal Park in Clarinda, Iowa. We're at the home of Clarinda Baseball and what's known as the Lead Recreation Complex for baseball action. Class 2A District 8 this is their last regional game to find out who goes to the sub-state game next time. It's the Red Oak Tigers against the Clarinda Cardinals. With me is Matt Davis and Aaron West, and we're going to bring the game to you live here on the YouTube channel. You'll be able to watch the game, and we'll be able to give you some commentary and the information that we have. Along with it, it's beautiful, 74 degrees. We're sitting here. We're at the back of the grandstand here. Got a great view of the field, beautiful-looking field. Slight breeze coming in over the left field fence. It's going to be a great night for baseball, Matt Davis.
Well, it is, and I'm glad we've got Aaron West here because he had tickets for Taylor Swift, and he was sitting in front row for Taylor Swift concert.
Yeah.
He gave that up tonight.
That's right.
He's a huge Taylor Swift fan, Aaron.
You are starting all kinds of rumors here, man.
And he gave up Taylor Swift to come do the production.
This is the way better end of the deal than that for me. Right here, absolutely.
Same
well,
thing.
If you're not watching T-Swift and you're invested in the game, we've got a beautiful night for baseball here. If you can't join us in Clarinda, I'm glad you're joining us on the YouTube channel. We'd love to hear some comments from where you're joining us from and what you think of the broadcast here. This is the broadcast number 2 for the year that we've had on the YouTube channel for the KCSI station, and we're happy to be bringing it to you. As it is, it's the same two teams that we had in game number 1. What do you think we're going to see in comparison to that game, Matt?
Yeah, and that game was back in early June. That game was Legion Park and Red Oak, and that was a 3-1 Red Oak win over the Clarinda. And, of course, from that game, we all remember Dawson Bond was masterful on the mound in that game, going complete game and kind of throttling the Cardinals in that one. And then, of course, they matched up again later in June, Dan, and the Cardinals turned the table on the Tigers. They won that one 9-1. Karsten Beckel pitched 7 innings complete game in that one, and so kind of even score. This is a rubber match, and this is the one where the money's on the table, because, so to speak, because there's a district championship on line tonight.
District championship, and winner goes home is to continue on into the tournament, and it's all on the line tonight. We've got a couple of fantastic teams facing off against. Going to have some quality baseball in a ballpark that's got a tremendous history of baseball. As you may know, this ballpark is where the Clarinda A's have played. The Clarinda A's have been a well-established program that we have here for collegiate players in their off-season to come and play, much like we had in Red Oak for a time with the Red Oak Red Sox. So this ball field is pretty familiar with me, not only for seeing high school games from years past and seeing a few Clarinda A's games here as well. Been some great talent that have been right here on this field, and the Clarinda high school team has got some great talent that they can put out here in competition, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. The Cardinals 15-9 on the year overall, and they went 11-9 in the Hawk 10, Dan, and they finished in 5th place. And they advanced here into this district game, the championship game, by beating Shenandoah 7-4 earlier in the week. So here they are, and this is a very seasoned baseball team. Only 2 years ago, this squad with a lot of these guys on this team were in the state tournament in Carroll. And then last year, the Cardinals made it all the way to regional final. So this is a team that has experienced pressure games, big games, with go home, win or go home type games, and that will certainly be an experience level. They'll have the advantage on the Tigers tonight in regards to that. And of course, the Cardinals are coached by long-term head coach Rod Eberle, and we talked to Coach Eberle before the game, and he's in good spirits. As happy as Clarinda A's won today, 8-6 up in Carroll. So.
Fantastic.
The A's won. We saw their bus pulling back in as we arrived at the stadium here tonight. So, playoff game tonight here. First playoff win for the Tigers in a long time. They advanced here by beating Trainer 4-0. And this is the first Red Oak winning season record-wise. The Tigers are 15-12 overall, and they were 8-12 in Hawkeye 10. But their first winning season overall in at least 15 years going back. So kind of a breakthrough year, Dan, for the Red Oak baseball program, and kind of in good uncharted waters here tonight, playing for a district championship.
Well, games can be cyclical, as you know. When you talk about high school sports, you can go from having good teams and devoted players to that. But I believe Coach Mark Erickson has built a reputation here with these kids. He has shown expectations. They go out and they do the hard work. They believe in each other, and that not only falls in line with the number of senior players that they have on the team, but you have a lot of the younger players that are willing to watch the example set by these players and what they're going to be expected to do after this season is over.
And that's a great point, Dan, because a lot of those seniors, the seniors on the Tiger squad, have been playing since 8th grade. You know, they've been in this program. In fact, we were looking at the records of the last 4 or 5 years of the Tiger program, and these guys are seniors last year. And I think their first year they started out, they were like something like 10-18, then 2-11 in the COVID year, 3-21, 12-16 last year, and then breaking through this year to getting posting a winning record for the season, 15-12. So that evolution of those younger players maturing into more seniors, you know, as you speak, that's exactly where the Tiger program is with this solid core of seniors.
Of course, the seniors that we're referring to are Dawson Bond, Chase Roeder, A.J. Schmidt, Landon Kaus, and Braden Woods that are on the roster for tonight. And they're here to play and to show that they deserve to be here just as well as the Clarinda team, which is very well established. The Clarinda, the Red Oak team, of course, is head coached by Mark Erickson. He has assistant coaches Steve Erickson, his brother Tristan Johnson, and Josh Kipley. And I know that he's been working with this combination of coaches for a number of years, which is good to build some establish with the rest of the team. Then they know who they're going to be working with. They know the guidelines and the expectations of what's expected. Right now, Red Oak is out on the field for their in-and-out practice. We saw Clarinda out a little bit ago, and like I've always told you, Matt, that you can tell how the team's going to play by how they handle their in-and-out practice.
Yeah, and back to your point about the head coaches, I think I'm correct in this, between Coach Eberly and Erickson, I think they're two most tenured Hawkeye 10 baseball coaches they've been around at their programs, and I think that speaks to stability and in the program all the way up. And looking at these two programs, Dan, they're 2A teams, we're in a 2A class, but they play in that Hawkeye 10, which is loaded with 3A teams, and even the 1A team is St. Albert's, was the state champs last year.
Exactly.
So the Hawkeye 10 is a loaded conference. I was looking at the power rankings before the game. In state of Iowa, in Class 2A, Clarinda is ranked number 12 in the state. They do that based on strength of schedule. So when you play in that Hawkeye 10 and you play up, that's a big reason that you get a good power ranking if you're a 2A team playing in the Hawkeye 10. Clarinda Cardinals are 7-5 versus 3A teams this year. They're 6-2 versus 2A teams.
Okay.
The Tigers are ranked number 21 in the state in the power rankings. They were 7-6 against 3A teams this year, 5-4 against 2A teams. But both of those teams have a strength of schedule that's in the top 15 in the state. So these are two teams that play high-quality opponents every night in Hawkeye 10.
Yeah, and they face that, and that goes to show, you play up to the level of your competition. But it does give an opportunity and a variety of teams to play for. You get to see lots of different talent. You get to see a lot of different levels. You get to see a lot of different places to play. And that just works to the advantage of your team. It's much like some of the other sports that we have in Red Oak where they may go to weekend tournaments and play teams of much larger schools. But you know what? If you don't see that competition, you don't know how to play to that competition. This is a unique situation because not only have these teams played each other twice so far this year, but these kids that are on these teams, when it comes to high school baseball, when it comes to club baseball that they play in the offseason, when it comes to the other sports that they play, they know these guys that they're playing up against. These are some of their friends. These are some of the people that they associate with, and that makes the game even more special when you can come out here and play the funnest game that I think the best game there is in the sport is baseball, and you can play it with your friends and people you know. It makes it even more important. Man, we've got a fantastic showing from Red Oak here, showing up at the game. We've got the stands that are filling up on the Red Oak side. They're watching their team warm up on the field, and man, what a beautiful night for baseball.
Yeah, I think Doc Kaus is not in his reserve seat, so he needs to move up to general mission. They're going to have to reposition Doc Kaus.
You kicked him out of his reserve seat, Matt. You're in the reserve seats up there where you're at. So
yeah.
I don't know why we get stadium seats and Matt gets a Barco Lounger, but that's nice.
I don't know what the deal is. They know that Matt has a reputation for seats.
He's got pull.
Here, I want to comment on something, guys, and thanks Matt and Dan for doing this because you guys are baseball guys. If people knows you guys are baseball guys. I do want to say thanks to our sponsors that made it possible for us to be here. Shore Motor Company, the folks at Shore Motor Company do a great job, great sponsors, great supporters of the youth and all things through the Country Sunshine listening area. Thanks to Shore Motor. We want to say thanks to Davis Taylor Insurance, great insurance company located right there in Red Oak and been there for a long, long time, haven't they, Matt?
Hey, if they insure me, they'll insure anybody.
They've been there for a long, long time.
They're obligated.
Easter's
family.
Easter's True Value. Thanks to Easter's True Value for all they do. A great operation right here in Clarinda. So thanks to those folks. If you need something, stop in there. Also, Stadium 34. I know you guys both enjoy Stadium 34. Rocky, and thanks to Rocky and his folks at Stadium 34 for the investment they've made in the Red Oak community and all they do. And thanks to Elizabeth Davis and State Farm.
Yeah, I think Rocky's probably got us on the high desk at Stadium 34 now. So if you're not coming down to game in Red Oak,
you think he's got some special? You guys should have like a drinking every time you say something tonight. Rocky should serve up something special. I might be getting in trouble here. I don't know. So, and also we want to say thanks to Elizabeth Davison and Clarinda and Shenandoah with State Farm or Farm Bureau. Thanks to Elizabeth Davison with being involved, and she is highly involved in the community with their girls in athletics, and thanks to Elizabeth for all she does.
And I would tell you, the Clarinda crowd is good too, and they've got the best seats. They got the lawn chairs over there along the third base line.
Look at that.
See down the line there.
These are seasoned fans. They know where to go sit. So we're going to have a big crowd here tonight. This is going to be a big game.
Tell me what does it mean for a team like Red Oak? This is a rare thing that Red Oak hasn't been in this spot a lot. What does it mean to them coming into the game?
Well, we were talking about that coming down. It's two things. One, you got a lot of seniors, and a lot of these seniors in Red Oak have had success in other sports. You got a state wrestling champ out there. You got some all-district football players and all that stuff. So that breeds confidence just in an athletic sense. But from a baseball sense, it's a new territory. And, big game, Dan, you will know, baseball is a game where you cannot play tight. You've got to be able to play the game in a loose way, but be able to perform in pressure. And that will be a thing that for the Tigers tonight with these seniors in this game. And I think for the Tigers, they need to stay in the game early. I think we kind of talked coming down that, this experienced Clarinda team, and, boy, I tell you what, they've got some pitching now. I tell you what, we're going to see a heck of a pitcher from them on the mound.
Now flip that for me. What is Clarinda? They've been here. They, baseball, traditional, strong baseball. Tell me what Clarinda's side come in.
Well, they come into it with an attitude of, act like you've been here before. However, don't ever overlook an opponent. You can never do that. And it's just a testament of not only the history of the game, but the history here in Clarinda, and especially the Everly family that has with this. I thought it was unique that you're reading off the sponsors that we have from Clarinda, and I look out on this outfield fence and I see every one of those sponsors listed out there. So they're not only invested not in this specific game, but these are businesses that are invested all year long. The only other reference I'll make to a game at this level, and Matt hit on it a little bit there, but I always make a reference to the game of baseball to the sport of wrestling, because you are out there, and when you're at that plate with the bat in your hands, you are one-on-one against the pitcher, who is your opponent there in the wrestling meet, but you're also working towards your team. So there's lots of different things you need to concentrate on. There's lots of different things, but it's basically at the time you're at bat, you're up there one-to-one with the pitcher, and you're trying to do what you can to what they're giving you, and then and go and try to build up for the rest of the team for the rest of the game.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here, and we'll be back and run through the lineups right after this.
Are we?
When you go home, you'll feel good about what you did. And, you're doing it for the kids. If they don't have us, they don't have these games.
Welcome back to Municipal Stadium in Clarinda, Iowa. It's home of Clarinda baseball, and tonight we got a hot one with you with the Red Oak Tigers against the Clarinda Cardinals. Let's break down for you the starting lineup for the Clarinda Cardinals, or for the Red Oak Tigers. First to start with, for the head coach of the Tigers is Mark Erickson, and assistant coaches Steve Erickson, Tristan Johnson, and Josh Kipley. Batting first, number 2, the second baseman is Chase Roeder. Batting second, number 10, the center fielder Landon Kaus. Batting third, the shortstop, number 1, Dawson Bond. Batting fourth, the pitcher, number 5, A.J. Schmid. Batting fifth, Braden Woods. He is going to be your first baseman wearing number 15. Batting sixth, number 4, Adam Byer. He's going to be playing second base tonight. The right fielder is Brody Bond. He's number 7. Number 19, Kale Hall, the designated hitter. And number 14, Brett Erickson, is going to be playing third base. Carson Roeder will be catching tonight for the Tigers. Now the starting lineups for the Clarinda Cardinals. They're head coach by Rod Everly, and they are assistant coach by Zach Gehring and Carson Rydell. Batting first is number 7, Taden Brown. He's playing second base. Batting second is Ronnie Weidman. He's a right fielder playing number 8. Batting third, number 1, is the shortstop, Cole Baumgart. Batting fourth, number 25, is the first baseman, Andrew Jones. Batting fifth, number 2, James McCall. He's the third baseman. Batting sixth, number 34, the pitcher, Creighton Tuzio. Batting sixth, number 3, the designated hitter, Leland Woodruff. And batting, that's 7th. Batting 8th is number 32, Caden Butt. He's the center fielder. And batting 9th, number 9, the catcher, Ryan Wagner. And number 4, Cade Ekstrand is playing left field for Clarinda today.
And let's focus on those pitchers, Dan, a little bit. Let's go back to A.J. Schmidt. He's on to take the mound tonight for the Tigers. He's 4-3 on the year with a 5.57 ERA, 17 walks, and 25 strikeouts. Batting average against A.J. is .298. And A.J., of course, is a senior. And then, of course, on the mound for the Cardinals tonight is Creighton Tuzio. Creighton on the year is 3-2, a record with a 4.45 ERA. He's got 40 strikeouts and 10 walks and 28 innings pitched today. Creighton is a junior. So, coming into this, both teams, I think their number one starters pitched in that the preliminary games, McCall and then Bond.
We're going to take a brief break for the national anthem. We'll be right back after this.
Our flag is located at the north end of our complex.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam? And bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly seen, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Our national anthem here from Clarinda Stadium, Municipal Stadium, right here in Clarinda, Iowa. Beautiful night for baseball, about 74 degrees. That breeze just lilting that American flag out there in the left field area. And the people out walking on the tracks and everybody joining us here at the ballpark. What a beautiful night for baseball.
Let's get to the keys of the game, Danny. And I think for Red Oak, they need to get some solid pitching out of A.J. and maybe Erickson on the back end of that game. And I think the key for Red Oak is to keep the Cardinals, let them earn their way on base, Dan. Limit the walks, limit the hit batters, limit the errors in the field, make those base runners be earned by the Cardinals. And then from the Clarinda perspective, I think the Cardinals want to jump out fast, Dan. I think if they get up, with that experience, they get up early in the game by several runs, you're going to see that confidence just grow in there. So I think that's kind of where they're at. And neither team, these teams, Dan, are very similar. Not big offensive teams. They're teams that rely on doing the little things to get their offense going. So we'll keep an eye on that. But, boy, this is going to be a good one tonight, Dan.
Shows from the history of this year that Clarinda is very comfortable when they can jump out to a lead and kind of control the game with it, just like they did against Shenandoah in their win to get to this game here tonight. So that's what they're going to be looking out to do. But Red Oak was going to be the first one to have the opportunity to score first, as they've been designated for the visiting team tonight. Yeah. Behind the plate, we have Matt Daniels as an umpire, and out on the bases, Mr. Chris Johnson. So they're going to be calling the game for us tonight. It's a beautiful night for baseball, and I think we're going to be ready to go here in just a couple of seconds.
And one other interesting thing, Dan, 2 8th graders catching tonight for both teams. Ryan Wagner for Clarinda and Carson Roeder for the Tigers. They've been doing a great job, so it's pretty unusual to see that.
Going to prove key to the game because, that's key to this game, especially in high school baseball. One of the things that the 8th grade catchers are going to have to contend with is there is a large amount of area behind home plate all the way to the backstop, and that gives them not only a lot of room to work with, but should they get a pass ball, it's also a lot farther they're going to have to go to bring the ball in. First pitch comes in, is on the inside, and that's Chase Roeder, our second baseman, up for 1 ball and no strikes. Second pitch coming in now. Comes in low. That's also called a ball. Roeder goes up on a 2-0 advantage of this.
Chase is batting .337 on the year. Good solid year for Chase.
Tuzio brings in the third pitch, fouled off straight back by Roeder. Moves the count to 2-1.
Chase has kind of been that guy. It's been all over the field. He's played a little catching, a little first base. He's played multiple roles for the Tigers this year.
Of course, that middle of the infield is so important for your defense. Roeder fouls the next pitch off over the first base side. Of course, you know the baseball facilities here in Clarinda. It's a beautiful facility. Been around here for a long time. Lots of area for people to sit and watch the game. A lot of the Clarinda crowd is up the third base line, up next to the fence to watch. Just kind of like what we do there in Red Oak. They're all sitting in there. Next pitch comes in. It's a called third strike. Sends Roeder down. That's the first strikeout for Tuzio.
Nice pitch there by Creighton. Just burned a fastball in that outside corner there.
Next, number 10, Landon Cow.
Landon Kaus comes up first. He's going to be playing center field for the Tigers tonight.
Kaus batting .380 on the year. Of course, Landon signed to play, I believe it's Simpson. He's going to play Simpson baseball.
That's right. As you can see on the video there, the Kaus takes a pitch to the outside for ball number 1. Kaus batting from the left side.
And the sun's going to be a little bit of a factor, Dan, on that right side of the field with the first baseman and the right fielder out there. Any balls out there, that sun will come into play here, so keep an eye on that too.
Field set up just like it is in Red Oak, so you know the first baseman and the right fielder have that to contend with, even the second baseman at that point until we get to a place where the sun will go down. Of course, not looking at that for another couple hours yet, so they do have a little bit to contend with when it comes to that. 2 balls, no strikes is a call on Kaus. Here comes the next pitch from Tuzio. Right on the outside corner, called for a called strike. That's 2-1.
Tuzio's a big pitcher, Dan, 6'6". Of course, he's a good basketball player, but he's a big, tall right-hander and has a good setup and a good delivery.
Yeah, he snaps that pitch in there real, and it kind of hides the ball until the last minute. That next pitch comes in a little high for a count of 3-1 on Kaus. Second batter up for the Tigers. Tigers up in the top of the first inning, 1 out. Nobody on base. Next pitch into Kaus. He swings and knocks it to third base. That goes over to McCall. McCall brings it on to first base to Jones, and that's out number 2.
Nice job there. McCall didn't panic, got the ball stopped, picked it up, and made a good strong throw to first to get Kaus.
Next up is Dawson Bond. He's going to be playing shortstop tonight, wearing the number 1 for the Tigers.
Dawson Bond batting .532 on here. That's second in the state, Aaron. Second in Class 2A. Dawson Bond batting .532, 41 hits on the year. Oddly, he's only second in the Hawkeye 10 behind Cade Anderson and Glenwood at the batting race, but this is a guy that does it all for the Tigers.
And he's stepping in there and steps in the right side of the plate. He's going to take the first pitch. Comes in, called strike, right down the middle.
Yeah, Tuzio's attacking the zone aggressively here in the first inning. He's not messing around, attacking the zone.
Of course, Bond's going to get a read on the pitcher and kind of see what he has to throw there and then make his choice of where he wants to put the ball. And second pitch comes in a little bit. Oh, called on the outside corner for strike number 2. 0-2 is the count against Bond. 2 outs against the Tigers here in the top of the first. Nobody on base. Here's the next pitch from Tuzio. Calls in, shakes off the sign. Now Bond calls for time and backs out of the box.
Cardinals playing the Tigers pretty straight away here in this first inning.
Maybe a little cheat on the center fielder towards the right field, but otherwise about the right depth. Kind of an off-speed pitch that Bond fouls off over the third base dugout.
Yeah, Tuzio's got him an 0-2 hole now. He doesn't have to give Dawson anything good. We'll see if this is gives a pitcher a heck of an advantage when you're up 0-2. So Dawson's going to have to probably hit something off speed here.
Of course, early in the game, you want to see as much as you can from the pitcher. There's a pitch way to the outside. Car outside, goes all the way to the backstop. Moves the count to 1 ball, 2 strikes against Dawson Bond.
Tigers with their pinstripe black uniforms on tonight. Clarinda in the home whites.
Tuzio with the next offering. Comes into Bond. Bond swings and misses.
Hard ball there.
Went after it really hard, but came up a little bit short. So after 1/2 the first inning, you got no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody on base. You're listening to Tiger Baseball on KCSI and live on the YouTube channel. You're seeing now the Tigers are now taking the field. We're going to take a short break. Okay. Aaron tells me we're going to take a little bit break. We'll be back in just a few seconds. You're listening to Tiger Baseball on KCSI.
When you go home, you'll feel good about what you did, and you know you're doing it for the kids. If they don't have us, they don't have these games.
Welcome back to Municipal Stadium in Clarinda, Iowa, where it's the Red Oak Tigers against the Clarinda Cardinals. Class 2A Region 8 baseball action tonight. Winner goes home. Loser sees their season come to an end.
Yeah, there's a lot of numbers. Class 2A, Region 8, District 16.
Yeah.
A lot of things to remember.
A lot of
there.
numbers there.
A.J. Schmidt's up on the mound for the Tigers. He's taking his warm-up pitches now. A.J., is a right-handed pitcher, and he's going through the motions with the catcher.
Yeah, A.J.'s had a solid year on the mound, and he's another guy that plays a lot of positions for the Tigers, and he's going to be challenged right at the bat with the Cardinals' leadoff hitter, Tayden Brown. Of course, we know Mr. Brown from his football exploits, but this is also, young man's a heck of a baseball player. Tayden Brown's batting .305, and he is their table setter, Dan. He makes things go for the Cardinals. You keep that success for the Red Oak team in that 3-1 win as they kept Tayden off the base pass. Conversely, when Cardinals won that game 9-1, Mr. Brown was in the middle of all that. So right off the bat here, first batter is a big at-bat for the Cardinals.
And lightning fast, Matt. He is lightning fast.
Yeah, he's 26 of 27 with stolen bases on the year. So pretty much if he's on first, he's going to be on second and another couple pitches.
Okay, so the key of the game here, like Matt mentioned earlier, is to keep Clarinda off the bases. We'll see what they plan to do here. See what they can do as far as pitching-wise and defense-wise to make that happen. As we start off at the top of the Clarinda order, we got Tayden Brown. Number 7, he's a second baseman. He's going to bat from the right side. Like you saw, like Matt explained, got Clarinda in their home white uniforms. And here comes the first pitch from A.J. Schmidt. A little bit outside for ball 1.
A.J.'s going to go that curve. He's got a little bit of a slider. And he needs to be around the plate tonight. And like I say, kind of make those Cardinals earn their way on tonight.
Second pitch into Brown. Comes in a little bit high for ball number 2. Looks like Brown was making some moves that he might be thinking about bunt there, just trying to keep the defense on their toes. As you know, as a leadoff hitter, that's always a possibility, so that's what you want to keep on. The third pitch comes in straight down the middle for strike number 1. Schmidt's got him 2 balls, 1 strike on Tayden Brown.
Tigers playing straight away. Erickson in a little bit here on third and on the edge of the grass at third base.
Next pitch comes in from Schmidt. Goes a little bit on the outside there. 3 balls and 1 strike against Brown.
And again, freshman, 8th grade catcher, Carson Roeder, behind the plate for the Tigers. Kind of take over the catching duties of the Harlan game a couple, 3 or 4 games ago. Done his outstanding job.
Looks into the Tiger dugout, gets a sign, and the pitch comes from Schmidt. It's a curveball. It falls in for a strike. We got a full count now. 3 balls, 2 strikes against Clarinda's first hitter, Tayden Brown. We'll see what we're going to do here. Nobody out in the bottom of the first inning. No score. Next pitch from Schmidt is coming in, and they stop action as Brown requests for a timeout. That's kind of unusual with the pitcher starting into motion.
We don't need a time. I don't think we need a time clock in high school. These guys get going.
Yeah, they need to get moving. Here's Schmidt comes in, and it's a called third strike. A.J. Schmidt throws it right by him.
Snapped off a
called
good curve
third strike.
Yeah, snapped off a good curve there, Dan.
Next pitch is number 8. He's the right fielder, Ronnie Weidman. Weidman is the second hitter for the Clarinda Cardinals.
Ronnie's batting .245 on year for the Cardinals with no home runs, 8 RBIs. He's got 13 hits on the year. He's a senior.
He's also hitting from the right side of the plate. Schmidt brings the first offering. And they're on the outside corner for a called strike number 1. What a beautiful night, Matt. I tell you what, we were talking about all the challenges these kids going through summer baseball program, but they couldn't pick a better night to play baseball tonight. Another pitch comes in for Schmidt. Comes in a little bit low that time. Brings count to 1 ball, 1 strike against Ronnie Weidman.
Weidman, a right fielder for the Cardinals, one of those solid players that just does their job.
Senior for the Clarinda Cardinals. Weidman strings on the next pitch and fouls it off straight down to the plate. He goes down 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning. No score. Clarinda and Red Oak right here in Clarinda, Iowa tonight. What a beautiful night for baseball. A large crowd here to see the action. A lot of people out here to support these kids. Good to see. Good to see. And now Weidman calls for timeout, steps out of the box. One of the things I was impressed with, Matt, is looking at this ball field and seeing all the financial support they get from their community, not only for the Clarinda A's, but for the Clarinda Cardinal program as well.
Yeah,
that pitch comes in a little bit on the outside, moves the count to 2-2.
One thing that's Roeder being well behind the plate's allowed Woody to go back to first, Braden Woods, and he's an outstanding first baseman. That improves the overall Tiger defense.
Next ball, the hit straight out to center field. Looks like House is camped under it. He brings it in for the second out. So a fly out to center field for out number 2. And that brings up Cole Baumgart, the shortstop for the Clarinda Cardinals.
Cole Baumgart batting .453 on your day. He's got a home run, 19 RBIs. This young man's kind of been fighting the shoulder injuries, come back, and he's in the starting lineup tonight, shortstop, and he is a ball player. I'll tell you what, he's a hitter.
Nothing short about him. Tall kid there, man, at the plate right now, hitting from the right side. Curveball comes in a little bit on the inside, and Schmidt's offer is called ball number 1. 2 outs now in the bottom of the first inning. No score here from Clarinda. Red Oak Tigers against the Clarinda Cardinals. Thanks for joining us. Second pitch goes outside for ball number 2. 2 balls, no strikes is our count. Cole Baumgart is the shortstop tonight, wearing number 1 for the Clarinda Cardinals. Next pitch from Schmidt comes in. Baumgart hits it straight down the third base line, and it gets by the third baseman down the line, and they bring the ball quickly in. Baumgart rounds first base and is there for a solid single.
Yeah, good. Just took the pitch, inside pitch, and wrapped it down that third baseline, but good play there by outfielder to keep him on first base. So that brings up Mr. Andrew Jones.
He is the first baseman tonight, wearing number 25 for the Clarinda Cardinals.
Andrew is batting .306 on the year. He's got 16 ribbies.
Junior for Clarinda. Toss over from Schmidt over to Woods, and Baumgart gets back in plenty of time. Jones waiting for his first pitch from Schmidt. Schmidt looks back and throws over to first base once again.
Baumgart 6 of 7 in stolen bases this year, so he's proven he can steal a bag here or there. We'll see if he's going 2 outs, see if he's going to try to get in scoring position here.
Pitch comes in.
Snap throw.
Snap throw back to first, but he's back in plenty of time. The pitch was called a little bit outside for ball number 1 against Andrew Jones. Schmidt looking in on the mound. He's keeping an eye on Baumgart over at first base. He's looking in to get his sign, and now he's going to throw over to first base. Baumgart back. Called safe again. Schmidt's concerned about the runner at first base, but he also needs to take care of business here at home too. This pitch comes into home, and it's called a strike. So the count evens at 1 against Andrew Jones. 2 outs now in the bottom of the first inning. Runner at first base for Clarinda in the form of Cole Baumgart. Schmidt looks, acts like he's going to throw to first. Baumgart back in plenty of time.
That's one thing the Tigers are going to try to do, limit that Cardinal running game if they can tonight.
Schmidt brings it in, and the ball is hit to the shortstop. Bond picks it up, throws it on to first base, and he's called out. So that takes it to the bottom of the inning. That's the 3rd out from shortstop to first base. That brings 3 outs, and 1 hit. No runs, no errors, and 1 left on base. After 1 complete inning, we're scoreless here in Clarinda. We're going to take a short break and be back right after these words from our sponsors.
When you go home, you'll feel good about what you did, and you're doing it for the kids. If they don't have us, they don't have these games.
One.
Back to Clarinda now. We're at Municipal Stadium right here in Clarinda, Iowa. It's the Red Oak Tigers against the Clarinda Cardinals in high school baseball action. It's tournament time. We'll win and go down the rim, lose and go home. What do you got, Matt?
Dan, we got some celebrities in the house. I see Jake Lord, the Clarinda AD, is in the house.
Fantastic.
He said he's a happy man because his 6-month-old slept through the night last night for the first time. So he is fresh and ready to go tonight. He feels like a new man with a full night of sleep.
That's fantastic.
And looking on the Red Oak side, we got Mr. Nate Perrin over here. We call him Mr. Cyclone, and Red Oak, he's a big Cyclone fan. Nate Perrin, the high school principal. So.
I don't think you may want to check that information. I don't know that you're completely accurate there. That's fine. Starting off for the Tigers is the pitcher, number 3, A.J. Schmidt. A.J.'s going to approach the plate from the right side. A.J., as you know, is one of our seniors that's going to be playing this year and does a great job for the Tigers. There he now pitches for a bunt, and that gets back towards the pitcher. Pitcher throws to the first baseman, and we have the first out recorded.
Schmidt's that pitch came in high, and when you get a high pitch, that's hard to get down on the ground, so that was a little bit of a pop-up, and Tuzio was able to field it on 1 hop and make the lob the first to get the out.
Tuzio to Jones for out number 1. That brings up Braden Woods. Braden is our first baseman tonight, wearing number 15. also approaches the plate from the right side. Braden takes his first pitch. It's called first strike on the inside part of the plate.
Woody's batting .260 on the air with a home run and 20 RBIs. That home run was a grand slam, I believe. So, and
there it is, a good rip, and that goes between the shortstop and the third baseman for a solid single into left field for Woods. Woods with a single, and he's on first base with one out for the Tigers. That was a nice, solid hit between Baumgart and McCall out there. Just good, solid. You could hear it right off the bat, and he found the pitch, and he knew what he wanted to do with it.
He squared it up.
Yeah. Okay, that's going to bring up Adam Beyer. Adam, of course, is our looks like Adam is playing in left field tonight. Adam's going to play in left field wearing number 4. Adam Pats from the left side. We'll see what he does. Swings at the first pitch for strike number 1.
Adam batting .250 on the year, no home runs, 16 ribbies. Been a solid outfield contributor, just a sophomore. Brings that left-hand presence to the lineup along with Kaus.
Next pitch comes in, and they're going to throw back to first base to check on Woods. He's back in plenty of time.
So the roles reversed here. Tigers got a runner first. See if Woody's a threat to go.
A few more options with nobody out, or I guess we do have one out now here in the top of the second inning. Tuzio's pitch comes in. Beyer fouls it off over the third base side, back over near the concession stand, over where all the Clarinda fans are sitting. Nice little souvenir over there for them. I'm sure they'll bring that back. But Beyer now has 2 strikes, no ball on his count. Braden Woods over at first base. Here comes the pitch from Tuzio. Outside, it's going to be the first ball now. One ball, 2 strikes.
Nice stop there by Wagner to shift over on Dan. Didn't try to catch with the glove. He shifted his body position behind that catching to stop that ball in the dirt.
Having the young catchers, that's one of the things you got an advantage of. Quick throw over to first base. Woods is back, but that was a pretty good move put on there by Tuzio. Jones over there trying to help keep Woods close. Tuzio looks in there, brings in the pitch home.
He's off.
Woods takes off for steering, and he's down and into second base, safe as the ball bounces through the defenders and on out into center field. Woods with a successful stolen base. He's now at second base with 1 out.
Yeah, he got a good jump on that. I mean, he was well on his way to second by the time Wagner got the throw there, and the throw was in the dirt, but I think Woody was in there pretty safe even without that.
Call was a ball, so with the ball, the count is 2-2 on Beyer at the home plate. Woods at second base now. Tuzio's pitch to Beyer is outside for a full count now. 3-2. 1 out. Top of the second inning here in Clarinda. No score between the Tigers and the Cardinals. Tuzio waits for the pitch, looks back to second base, brings his offering to home plate. Beyer fouls it off.
Yeah, Adam did a good job fouling off that fastball in the outside corner.
Straight back, so that shows that he was on it. He just did not get the bat behind it.
Tuzio looking for a big strikeout here. That'd be big for him to get a strikeout here.
Of course, you would think the Beyer's looking to put the ball on the right side to move Woods on down the way. But we'll see what happens here. Fouled off again, straight back. He remains count full with 1 out. Beyer's doing a good job up there, finding the pitch he wants, selecting what's he going to do with it. Good seasoned batter at the plate, Adam Beyer. Next pitch comes in, and he fouls it down the third base line, and it's foul picked up by Coach Mark Erickson, given to the third baseman.
Yeah, I'm not sure Adam's trying to hit to the left side. I think naturally he's a little late on the swing here, but if he's able to connect here with that, he might shoot one on that left side here.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens, just like the hit the Clarinda got against the Tigers. Tuzio looks back at second base. He's looking in for the pitch now, and here's the offering to Beyer. Ball is on the outside part, is called a ball, and the Beyer moves on to first base with a walk. That brings up number 7, Brody Bond, the right fielder for the Tigers. Bond's going to hit from the right side of the plate.
Brody batting 157 on here, just a sophomore.
Braden Woods on second, Adam Beyer on first. 2 runners on for the Tigers with 1 out here in the top of the second inning. Brody Bond approaches the plate. Tuzio checks the runner at second and brings the offering home. A little bit outside for ball number 1. 1 ball, no strikes on Brody Bond.
Yeah, I think Tuzio's going to go fastball here on this sophomore. He can maybe he's got a good fastball. Try to power this at bat here with Bond.
Can he get too comfortable with that runner at second, though? He's got to keep an eye on him. So he brings in the next offering. Comes in a little bit high. That's 2 balls and no strikes. A little bit high on Brody Bond. Of course, Brody's one of the shorter members of the team, but powerful swing in that area. He's got to respect that average and Brody's ability to move the runners around. 1 out here in the top of the second inning. 2-0's pitch comes into Bond. And it's on the outside corner, called for strike number 1.
Mentioning height, I think if we took a look at our teams, it would be the short Red Oak team versus the very tall Clarinda team.
Very tall Clarinda team. You noticed that too. Not only their pitcher, but you look at their shortstop, which is anything but short out there, and good size in their whole team. 2-0's pitch into Bond, comes in the inside over his head, actually. Nice stop by the catcher. And like I said, these catchers want to be on their game and be right at it because there's an awful lot of area behind home plate to the backstop that they have to try to cover if a pitch should happen to get by them.
Bond's in a good hitting position here, 3-1 count, Dan.
Yeah, hitters count, 3-1. Let's see what he does with this. Swings at the next pitch and doesn't make connection, so that brings the count to 3-2.
2-0 brought that fastball. I think you're going to see another heater right down the middle here. So
3-2, 2 out. Runners at first and second base. Top of the second inning. No score here in Clarinda so far. 2-0 looks in, looks back at second base to check on the runner, and now is going to bring his offering in to Bond at home plate. Now he's going to turn and act like he's going to throw to second and doesn't complete the throw. Wood's back in plenty of time.
Tigers need to be alive on the bases for a pass ball because you can really advance on that.
Brody Bond waiting for the pitch. Comes in, swings and misses. Strike 3.
2 outs now.
That's going to be the second out. I thought we had 2 outs before, but swing and a miss brings 2 outs now. It brings up Cale Hall, the designated hitter for the Tigers.
Cale, just a freshman, batting .254 on the year. Good freshman campaign for Cale Hall. He's got 8 ribbies on the year. So
even though he's a freshman, the word that I've heard to describe Cale Hall is smart. And that's the big thing, especially if you don't have a lot of experience playing, to have the intelligence and knowing what to do when you get up there. First pitch comes in on the inside for ball 1.
Yeah, and I think that's smart in terms of games nuances, knowing those little things about baseball, which takes a lot of experience, but he does have that as a young player. That's good to see.
1 ball, no strikes on Cale Hall.
Baseball instincts, I guess, is the way you call it, right?
Next pitch comes in right down the middle called for a strike. Counts now 1-1. Yeah, the baseball instincts and know what to do in the situation that you're in. You know, what the pitcher gives you this pitch, what can you do with it? You know, and think about all those different things. It takes quite a bit of maturity when it comes to that. And Hall hits the ball down the right field line and occurs foul down the first base line.
Seemed to be some confusion there on the base pass for the Tigers. Byer had broke for second on the pitch. Woody wasn't going anywhere, so I think there was some confusion there maybe with the signs for the Tigers.
Looks like the defensive swing the Hall had on there, possibly a hit and run was put on, and just trying to see what they'd come up with there. But 1 ball, 2 strikes against Cale Hall, the designated hitter for the Tigers. We got runners at first and second for the Tigers, top of the second inning, and no score. 2 outs against the Tigers, runners at first and second. Pitch comes in, Hall offers for it, comes up empty, and that's going to put the Tigers down. So left 2 on base with 1 hit and 1 walk, and no errors, and like I said, 2 left on base, no runs. And the score after 1.5 innings is Red Oak Tigers 0, Clarinda 0. We'll be back after these messages.
Subscribe to the KCSI Radio YouTube channel today. Interviews, parades, events, contests, and more. Subscribe to KCSI Radio on YouTube and get notified every time something fun happens.
Okay, welcome back, guys.
What a beautiful night for baseball.
It could not be any nicer.
Crowd is swarming in here, and good support for both teams, as we know it would be. And we knew that this game is going to wind up being all that it was advertised to be, Matt.
Well, like I said, I mean, it's not the Taylor Swift concert that Aaron was going to go to, but
Matt, that is so not true. That is so not true.
You told me you were going to Taylor Swift concert.
That's not true, Matt.
I know you've been playing more Taylor Swift songs on the radio in the morning.
You have,
in between Johnny Cash and Waylon Jennings.
I have never played a Taylor Swift song, ever.
Yeah, and I can tell you for 3 days that I was out there, it didn't happen for me either. So I don't know where he's getting this from.
Yeah, but yeah, easy on that now.
Yeah, we can't be doing that. We hope that people are enjoying the Taylor Swift concert down there in Kansas City. I know that my daughter-in-law is down there amongst all those people, and I hope they're enjoying it. But that seems like a mass of humanity down there. Approaching the plate for the Clarinda Cardinals is number 2, the third baseman, James McCall. James is a right side hitter.
He's batting .203 on the year, James is, 9 ribbies. Of course, he's their ace pitcher. He has led them in pitching efforts, and he's playing third base tonight. He's not available to pitch tonight.
Pitching a good thing to have under your belt when you come in a hat like this. And McCall runs it out to the shortstop. Booted by the shortstop. That's going to be an error on 6 on Dawson Bond as McCall reaches first base.
Yeah, it's kind of a do-or-die pick there for Dawson with that short picks, I think, with that speed with McCall, and you got to be quick on that, but couldn't dig it out, so Cardinals have leadoff runner on here.
And that brings up Creighton Tuzio, the pitcher, number 34 for the Clarinda Cardinals. Runner at first base, nobody out.
Creighton batting .213 on year, but interesting enough, Creighton has been hit 16. Excuse me, that's Beckel. It's been hit, but the Cardinals batters have. One of the interesting stat, Dan, is they lead the league in hits by pitches.
He is approaching the inside part of that box there, but he takes the first pitch offered from Schmidt for strike number 1. So it'd be interesting to watch what they're doing there. Kind of a relaxed stance at the plate. He does kind of lean out over that plate when he approaches his stance. So.
And his height, Dan, if that strike zone is going to be moving a little bit with that strike zone, his height out there.
Yeah, plenty of strike zone to shoot for there. But, yeah, you're right. He has got the toes on the front part of that box towards the plate. Runner at first base. Schmidt's kind of looking at him now. He brings the pitch in. Pitch comes in low. Count now is 2-1 on Tuzio. Runner first base is James McCall. He reached first base on an error by shortstop Dawson Bond. Nobody out here in the bottom of the second inning. Tuzio fouls off the next pitch and evens up the count at 2. Foul goes straight back and picked up by Coach Mark Erickson, taken back to the dugout there. 2-2 is the count. Nobody out. Runner at first. Let's see what Schmidt's going to do in this situation. He gets a sign from the catcher. Looks back, checks the runner at first. Brings the offering in home. Comes in a little bit low. Ball gets away from the catcher, and that causes McCall to advance down to second base.
Looks like McCall kind of was leading steps, and he did a good job. Once he saw that ball in the dirt, Dan, he took off, and that's good base running there. Anytime you coach, anytime that ball's in the dirt, take off.
Pitch comes in, and it's called strike number 3 against Tuzio. It's going to set him down for out number 1 as we have a runner at second base. Brings up the designated hitter, number 3, Leland Woodruff.
Good pitch there on the inside corner by A.J. Woodruff. Just a junior batting .261 on the year.
Woodruff also kind of on the inside part of the plate there.
Yeah, the Cardinals are definitely on top of the plate. That's one of the things they do in their batting strategy.
Schmidt's first pitch comes in on the outside corner for called strike number 1.
They're going to be on top of that plate.
McCall's out at second base. He's going to get some of the pitcher's attention as he's out there. And Schmidt gets the call from the catcher, looks out to check the runner at second base. Now he brings the offering home. Swing and straight line drive down the first base line, but falls foul. So the no balls, 2 strikes now on Leland Woodruff, the designated hitter.
Big
runner at second base.
0-2 count here. AJ can look something off speed, but you want to make sure that catcher's blocking that ball in the dirt too.
That's right. 1 out. Here we go. Pitch comes in and is a call. Third strike once again on the outside corner. Situation, boom, boom. Last 2 hitters as they've watched that third strike come in.
All 3 of AJ's pitches, strikeouts, have been in called third strikes, Dan. That's tell you that he's got that breaking ball moving on. We got a mound visit going on here.
Right. The catcher's now gone out to talk to his pitcher, Mr. Schmidt. Back behind mound. Back behind the plate tonight. We have Chase Roeder. He went out to have a conversation, and now up for the Cardinals is number 32, the center fielder, Caden Butt.
Caden Butt batting .250 on the year.
Butt, as you can tell, bats from the left side of the fence, left side of the plate. First pitch comes in, must be a little bit high. Called a ball by the umpire. 1 ball, 1 strike is the count on.
We've got 2 outs, Dan. The board only has
2 outs. 2 outs on board, and I think they added a strike there. So wait for the board to get caught up. I know we have 2 outs. Second pitch comes in on the outside corner. I think that's going to even our count at 1. Schmidt has a little trouble retrieving the baseball as it comes back. Here we go. We got a correction on the scoreboard now. 2 outs, runner at second. The 7th batter in the Clarinda batting order in Caden Butt, the center fielder, number 32. Pitch comes in. Butt lays down a bunt. That's coming a long ways to pick it up. They throw on to first base. Going to be too late. That moves a runner to third base in the form of James McCall. And Butt reaches first base on the infield hit.
Good idea there by Caden. The third baseman Erickson was playing way back, and he got a good pitch that he could put down on the ground and beat it out there. So Cardinals set up here first and third, but 2 outs.
2 outs. Ryan Wagner, number 9. He is the catcher for the Corinda Cardinals. We've got runners at first and third, 2 outs, top and bottom of the second inning. We've got no score here in Clarinda.
Wagner batting 133 on the year, just an 8th grader.
Approaches from the right side of the plate. Schmidt's got to check 2 runners now, third and first. Runner at first base, Brooks takes off.
They're going to try to steal home. Oh! We're going to call him safe. Good play there by the Cardinals.
Cardinals had a double steal going on. A delayed steal going up to second base. Second baseman caught it through at home as the runner came from third base. And the umpire called the runner coming in from third base. He caught him safe at home. Corinda's first one to draw blood in this contest
If
tonight.
you remember in our earlier game in Red Oak, Corinda kind of baited Red Oak on those throws to steal a run up in Red Oak as well. And that's kind of what happened there. The runner took off, Dan, kind of a slow jog to second, and it was enticing, and went to throw home. The throw was just a bit high, and the umpire ruled that the Corinda got in underneath the tag. So 1-0 Cardinals.
So 2 outs, and then there's no count on the batter. That was then the first pitch of the contest there. The runner took off, and they went in to try to pick him off. Corinda executes a double steal. Pitch is a little high, called there, about 1 ball, no strikes against Ryan Wagner, the catcher for the Corinda Cardinals.
And if I remember correctly, that was with the bottom of the lineup up in Red Oak as well, and that's what Corinda's done here at the bottom of their lineup. They produced a run in their bottom portion of the lineup.
Every player contributes. You got a complete team, and that's what it takes. Next pitch is a little bit outside, at least for 2 balls, no strikes on the catcher for Corinda, number 9, Ryan Wagner. Wagner bats on the right side. Got a runner at second base. This has got Schmidt's attention. He leans in, gets the sign from the catcher, checks on the runner at second base. Here comes the pitch, and Wagner piles it up over on the first base side. Braden Woods is underneath it and makes a catch for out number 3 for a fly out to first base. So we've got 1 run on no hits. And, 1 hit. 1 run on 1 hit, 1 left on base, and 1 error. And after 2 innings, it's Corinda Cardinals 2, Red Oak Tigers 0, with Tigers coming up in the top of the third.
Subscribe to the KCSI Radio YouTube channel today. Interviews, parades, events, contests, and more. Subscribe to KCSI Radio on YouTube and get notified every time something fun happens.
Welcome back to Corinda at Municipal Stadium, home of the Corinda baseball. As you have the Red Oak Tigers against the Corinda Cardinals tonight. Beautiful night for baseball here, and we're talking Class 2A, District 8, tournament actions. Winner wins, goes on down the tournament trail. Loser goes home and ends their season. And right now, we're getting into the top of the third inning. Corinda is currently leading Red Oak 1-0.
Yeah, we talked pregame, Dan, about the keys for Red Oak perspective to try to make Corinda earn those runs, and the error got that runner on the base in the last inning, and then the double steal there. So there is Corinda manufacturing a run with only 1 base hit. So key there for the Cardinals, and they have jumped out on top here.
Third inning, top of the third inning, we're going to lead off with Brett Erickson. Brett's wearing number 14 tonight. He's the third baseman. Brett hits from the right side. Tuzio's offering comes in straight down the middle. Is called strike number 1.
Brett, a sophomore, batting 172 on the year.
Brett's batting 9th for the Tigers tonight. Another swing on the second offering, and it's 0-2 quickly on Erickson. Swing that didn't produce anything. I know he may have been looking for something different than what he was offered. Next third offering comes in from Tuzio, is outside. Makes the count 1 ball, 2 strikes against Erickson. Brett's playing third base tonight for the Tigers. Next pitch comes in a little bit high, so that's going to even the count at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Here we are in the top of the third inning. It's Corinda 1, Red Oak 0. Tuzio's next pitch comes in. Erickson gets bat on it, hits it out to right field. Right fielder's under it, trying to get guard on it. And he brings it in for the first out of the inning. That's Weidman out there playing right field.
He had to battle that sun, Dan, and did a good job. He broke in initially, but then he went back and recovered and made a good catch in looking into the sun here.
Brings up the top of the order for the Tigers, and that's our second baseman, number 2, Chase Roeder.
Chase called third strike first time up.
Right here in the third inning, 1 out. 1-0 Corinda. First call is on the outside corner. It's called a strike. And Roeder is down, no ball, 1 strike. Tuzio's looking in to get the sign. Now he goes into his windup. Curveball comes in, but comes in a little bit high, and that's going to even this count at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out against the Tigers here in the top of the 3rd inning. Chase Roeder at the plate for the Tigers. Next offering is going to be outside. Another curveball.
Really impressed with this Wagner. He is as is Roeder for the Tigers. These 8th graders. I mean, you just haven't seen a ball go to the backstop yet.
No, keeping pretty good, solid control on that. Next pitch comes in, but it's a nice fastball, but it's a little bit low. That moves the count to 3 balls and 1 strike on Chase Roeder for the Tigers. 1 out for the Tigers in the top of the 3rd. Nobody on base. Tuzio brings in the next offering, and it's high. That one does get by the catcher, but that's all right. That's a walk for Chase Roeder. He's going to reach first base as a base on balls.
We'll see if Chase is going to be a threat here possibly to take a base. He's got some speed, so we'll see what the Tigers do here. If they'll hit and run or a straight steal or what they'll do here.
That brings up Landon Kaus, number 10 for the Tigers. He's going to approach the plate from the left side. Landon grounded out to the 3rd baseman in the 1st inning for the 2nd out of the inning. But now he's got a runner at first base to work with. Let's see what Landon's approach is here at the plate. Tuzio looks in, throws quickly over to first base, but Roeder is back safely.
Tigers trying to answer that run from the Cardinals in the bottom of the 2nd here in the 3rd.
Cal still waiting for his first pitch from Tuzio. Runner is checked. Pitch comes in, is high and outside for ball number 1. Tuzio's got a good fastball, but having a little trouble locating it where he wants it to go right now.
These two guys very familiar with each other, Tuzio and the Cows. They have matched up a lot in the conference.
We'll see what happens. Snap throw over to first base, and Roeder is back safely. Tuzio's got a pretty good move to first base. He wants to keep that runner honest. I'll make sure he doesn't get much farther than where he needs to be. Cal's waiting for his next pitch. Here comes in, outside corner. He tells Roeder that the catcher stopped the ball, so not to advance. And it's 2 balls, no strikes on Landon Kaus, center fielder for the Roeder Tigers.
Landon, an all-conference player in the Hawkeye 10 last year, probably be again this year.
Next pitch comes in. It's high as well. 3 balls and no strikes.
Tuzio here in the last couple batters here. A little out of sync here.
I'm impressed with the fastball, and he does like to use the curveball as well, but he's having a little trouble locating it, it appears. Maybe a little distracted by the runner at first base. Next pitch comes in same location, up and outside, and that's going to be a walk from Brandon Kaus. That put runners at first and second base for the Tigers with 1 out.
You got to think here with Dawson Bond coming to bat. He striked out last time. You got to think this is a key moment in the game here. The Tigers get back in the game with Bond at the plate with 2 runners on.
So we've got Roeder at second base, Kaus at first base, Dawson Bond now hitting for the Tigers. Of course, Dawson's playing shortstop tonight, wearing number 1. Bats on the right side. First pitch comes in, is outside on the corner.
Nice stop there by Wagner.
That's right. Wagner did a very good job stopping the ball.
And Coach Eberly's coming out now.
Coach Eberly's going to come out for a mound visit, come out in front, talk things over with Tuzio and the rest of the infielders.
Hey, I want to say thanks to our sponsors and thanks to you, Matt and Dan. I want to say thanks to Clarinda Regional Health Center for sponsoring our scoreboard here this evening. Again, Davis Taylor Insurance. We have Easter's True Value thanks to those folks. Elizabeth Davison with Farm Bureau, Stadium 34, and Shore Motor Company. They make it possible for us to be here.
Yeah, thank you very much for those sponsors. And
thank you for listening tonight on the YouTube channel. We'd like to hear some comments from you. Find out where you're listening from. Tune in. Let us know. Give us some comments. And let us know how we're doing here. Matt and I are not professionals with this, so we're doing the best we can to try to paint the picture for you, even though you're joining us here live on video. Watch the Tigers and Clarinda. Runners at first and second. Here comes the next pitch in for Dawson Bond as a ball on the outside.
Yeah, Dawson's in a good hitting count here, but you don't want to expand your zone, Dan. You want to look for your pitch here, and if it's not where you're looking for, let it go.
Of course, the Tigers down 1-0. They're a little reserved on the base paths, but they're going to do what they can. Dawson Bond sees the next pitch come in on the outside corner, and he goes 2-1. 2 balls and 1 strike, 1 out on the Tigers here in the top of the 3rd inning. They're down 1-0, and Bond calls for a timeout just as the pitcher started in the motion. Everybody kind of started into motion there, and Dawson said, no, wait a minute, I want a little time here. Tuzio's ready now, and he brings the next pitch in, and it's called a strike.
Tuzio battles back in the count here. Is down 2-0. He's battled back to even the count 2-2 now. That's a good curveball snapped off inside there, Dan.
Chase Roeder at second, Landon Kaus at first, Dawson Bond up at the plate. We've got 1 out here in the top of the 3rd inning. Tigers down 1-0. Tuzio brings in the next pick, coming in a little bit low, and that's going to make the count go full.
3-2. You start them up here, Dan?
Well,
Start the runners here?
I think with a good veteran hitter like Bond at the plate, that's definitely a possibility. You know, why not start something? Then Bond has it down third base line. It's a fair ball, and it looks like that Roeder's coming around to score, and Kaus gets to third base. They're going to send him in as well. Kaus is going to come down, play at the plate, and he's safe. Dawson Bond with a 2-run double. Tigers go up 2-1.
Yeah, that big base hit there by Dawson Bond just snuck inside that third base bag. And with that speed of the Tigers, you got Landon Kaus, state track qualifier. He burned it around the bases there, came home, put the Tigers on top, 2-1.
So Tigers go up 2-1 here in the top of the third inning by a double, 2 RBI double by Dawson Bond. That brings up A.J. Schmidt, the pitcher.
Yeah, Kaus came running around third like he was coming around that third corner. Coach Sue-Ann French was happy about that speed.
Yeah, we've seen it all before, but when he slid in there, it looked like a hand come up and touched the plate, and there was just a cloud of dust there, but that was just in time. Now, A.J. Schmidt fouls his first pitch off on the right field side.
Of course, Kaus gets all that speed from his mom. His mom was a tremendous athlete.
Yeah, I think Dad might have had something to do that too. But we're going to get the whole Kaus family has been a baseball family. It's been fun to watch them play. Tuzio's pitch now comes into Schmidt, and it's going to be low on the outside corner to even up the count at 1-1 with 1 out here on the Tigers.
So Tuzio needs to limit the damage here. You don't want to give up another run here. You want to settle in here.
What a well-placed hit by Dawson Bond, though, right down the line, right where it needed to be. Went past the third baseman and scored it. Now we call a timeout here at the plate. Tuzio was into his windup, but we're going to stop action for a second.
One thing the Tigers have done, and I noticed in the end, they've been stepping out more, asking for time, trying to break that rhythm up on Tuzio a little bit.
Might be getting into his head a little bit as they got a runner at second base and 1 out for the Tigers here in the top of the third inning. Tuzio turns and goes back to the – actually, he's going to go back to second, and Bond is back with no problem. Bond with a pretty good lead off second base. Tuzio looking in now. Bond looks to third base. Pitches down. Bond is in and safe at third base with his stolen base. Stolen base for Dawson Bond.
He looked like a miniature Pete Rose there, that head first slide flying through the air. That's Pete Rose-like.
There was a strike called on the hitter, on A.J. Smith. His count is 1-2.
We just dated ourselves by naming a ball player from the 70s.
Oh, the iconic picture of Rose flying through the air. That's exactly what it looked like. And now Schmidt's going to punch it down the first baseline. They're going to take it over to that but Dawson Bond scores on the sacrifice hit by A.J. Schmidt. Brings it 3-1 for the Tigers.
Yeah, I don't know if that was intentional. He did that batting Dan, or what it was kind of like, almost like a half swing bunt type of thing, but did the job. They get Dawson Bond home for the Tigers' third run.
Nice of him to move the ball over to that side, though, because he knew what he needed to do to get Dawson across the plate. Brings up Braden Woods, our first baseman, number 15. Braden swings at the first pitch and knocks it out towards center field. Second baseman goes out and brings it in for Clarinda. That's Brown out there at second base, and that makes the third out of the inning. After 2.5 innings, the Tigers now lead the game 3-1. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Subscribe to the KCSI Radio YouTube channel today. Interviews, parades, events, contests, and more. Subscribe to KCSI Radio on YouTube and get notified every time something fun happens.
Welcome back to Clarinda, where the Red Oak Tigers are now taking the lead in the game 3-1 in the top of the third inning. We're going on to the bottom of the third as Clarinda comes up to the plate in their half of the inning. Some pretty good hitting, some well-placed hits there, both of them down the third base line for both teams. Dawson Bond happened to be bringing in 2 RBIs with his double, though. And another run scored by Bond as he had stolen third base, and then a nice sacrifice there by A.J. Schmidt moves him in for the score.
And those 2 leadoff walks in that, actually it was a leadoff walk, so it was 1 out walk, but those base on balls come home to roost there for the Tigers in that one. So, yeah, Tigers puts 3 runs on the board there, and the Cardinals here have a chance to get right back. They got the top of the lineup here starting off with Brown leading off here, Dan, in the bottom third.
But as we talked about before, Matt, this is unfamiliar territory to the Cardinals. They're used to jumping out, taking the lead, and being in control the whole time. We'll have to see how they face this pressure now, being down 2 runs here in the third inning.
Yeah.
Like Matt said, leading off is Taden Brown, number 7. He is the second baseman for the Clarinda Cardinals, and he is the spark plug for the team. He has got the numbers to show that he is the one they start with. Curveball comes in from A.J. Schmidt for a called first strike.
A.J. snapping off that curveball.
We'll have to see what Brown can do with that because, he's studying each pitch and knows what he's going to be offering and what he can do with each pitch that comes in. Next pitch comes in a little low. It's called a ball. Count is 1-1 against Tatum Brown for Clarinda. Score is Red Oak 3, Clarinda 1. We are in the bottom part of the third inning here in Clarinda, Iowa. Next pitch comes in a little bit high for ball number 2. Tatum Brown up there, second baseman for Clarinda tonight.
Tatum right on top of that plate.
See what happens is Schmidt brings one in, and Brown drives it out to right field. Right fielder's back, judges, and brings it in. That's Brody Bond out there in right field for the Tigers, making out number 1.
Yeah, Brody is playing a little shallow, as he should. He had to backtrack on that ball and fight the sun, Dan, and he made a good catch there. He had to go quite a distance to get that a little bit.
Defensively, probably the best play for the Tigers so far tonight. That's going to bring up Ronnie Weidman, the right fielder, number 8 for Clarinda. 1 out here in the bottom of the third inning.
I've been flied out to center last time up. But, one of the toughest things to do as an outfielder, Dan, is to run and track the ball while you're running.
Exactly.
That is a tough skill to learn, and Bond did a good job there.
Waiting for that ball to get to the apex, and then you get the beat on it to know what to do. Pitch comes in there a little bit on the outside corner and evens out the count 1-1 on Ronnie Weidman, the right fielder for Clarinda. Like I said, Red Oak 3, Clarinda 1 here in the bottom of the third inning. Clarinda's up here at the plate. Weidman flew out to center field on his first attempt. He was the second out of the first inning. 1-1 is the count with 1 out against Clarinda in the bottom of the third. Next pitch comes in. Good stop behind the plate by Roeder. Kind of pitch on the outside, fell a little bit short, and he stopped the ball from going any farther.
We're real impressed with Roeder. He moves his body well, shifted well there to stop that ball. No one is on base, but it's a good habit to get into.
Smith's pitch comes in, and it is on the outside corner, but called a ball. So,
Lampe, Missouri.
Missouri.
Gene Butts watching. Thanks, Gene.
Hey, Gene. Nice to have you with us tonight. Counts 3-1 against, and he looks for the ball. Next pitch comes in on the inside, and Ronnie Weidman's going to go to first base on the base on balls.
Good take there by Weidman on that. He's earned that base on balls there.
So we got to keep an eye on him as Cole Baumgart comes to the plate. Cole is a shortstop for Clarinda. He's going to hit from the right side, and there he is right back there playing it right on the line again.
Cole with a big single, a solid single first time up, and he's batting .453, and this is their Cardinals' big hitter.
Schmidt throws a curveball in there and falls into the zone for called first strike. 0-1 on Baumgart. Ronnie Weidman is over at the first base, and he's checked on by Schmidt, throws over to Woods, and Weidman gets back in time. Schmidt's looking in for the pitch. Sets up, checks the runner at first base. And now the pitch comes in, and it's a curveball. It's hit into left field, and it's down for the hit.
Another good solid swing there by Baumgart. He's a good hitter, man, good-looking hitter, and he just stroked that one over to left field.
Adam Byer right on it, but now we have runners at first and second base with 1 out here against Clarinda.
And this would be big for the Cardinals to answer that 3-run spot by the Tigers in the top of the third.
Maryville, Missouri. Bearcats.
Missouri. Good to see it from the Bearcats.
Up in Ames.
Mr.
Carlson.
Okay.
Colton Carlson watching.
Hi, Colton.
Cole Carlson.
Cole Carlson. Wish you were back here calling the game, Cole. I miss you, buddy. Good to have you here with us, joining us. Thank you very much. So we got runners at first and second base, and number 25, Andrew Jones, the first baseman, stepping in for Clarinda.
So big spot here for Mr. Jones. He can get his team right back in this game.
Schmidt steps off the rubber and looks back towards second base. Runners at first and second, 1 out, and one strike is a call against Andrew Jones. Pitch comes in, a little bit short. Runners advance as the pitch got away from Roeder off to the right. So now we have runners at second and third base. They are aggressive on the base paths here.
Roeder did a good job getting that block. The pitch was just too far outside, but now, that advances them up, and they're both in scoring position now.
So we got runners at second and third, 1 out here in the bottom of the third inning. Hit right up center of the field, but into center field, and that's going to score both runners. That's a 2 RBI single by Mr. Andrew Jones.
Great hit there by Andrew Jones. Just took the pitch right back up the middle, and just like that, the Cardinals have tied this game up 3-3.
That's a single with 2 RBIs from Mr. Andrew Jones.
Jeremy Kipley from Grove Heights, Minnesota.
Got another Kipley out there.
There you go.
Coach Erickson coming out now and going to huddle the team and talk a little bit here. And Big. We talked at pregame, Dan, about experience.
Right.
We also talked about Rote trying to hang in there, which they have done. But, here's a team that's not panicking, the Cardinals. They're right back in the game.
Exactly.
They get back with the top of the lineup. They're taking advantage of that here now for this Rote team. Settle in, try to get out of this inning.
Right.
But a heck of a game so far. We've got a good one right here.
And not a really solid hard hit by Jones to drive it up the front, but he knew what he wanted to do.
Put the bat on the ball.
Right. And just like he did when he grounded out to the shortstop in the first inning, it was not a hard hit ball, but he put it right where it needed to be.
He absolutely did.
That's going to bring up James McCall. He's our third baseman wearing number 2, hitting from the right side for Clarinda. He's up there with a runner at first base and 1 out here in the bottom of the third inning. Clarinda has just evened the score at 3. We have a 3-3 tie. Schmidt brings the pitch in, and McCall swings and misses for strike number 1.
McCall, James reached on an error on the shortstop in his first at bat and came around and scored the first gun in the game for the Cardinals.
McCall waiting for the pitch. Schmidt checks the runner at first, brings the pitch as a curveball in. Comes in a little bit high for a ball. Evens up the count 1-1 with 1 out here in the bottom of the third inning. Thanks for joining us here for Red Oak Tiger Baseball. It's the Clarinda Cardinals and Red Oak Tigers live from Clarinda. Next pitch from Schmidt comes in, is on the inside corner and called for a second strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 out here in the bottom of the third. James McCall is the batter for the Clarinda at the plate. We'll see what he does here with the 1-2 offering from Schmidt. Comes in, a little bit outside.
Nice stop by Roeder
did
there.
Make a nice stop and even made a feint throw to first base to get the runner to come back.
No, Carson isn't your prototype catcher. He's size-wise.
Yeah.
But, boy, he's a good one back there as 8th grader.
Yeah. Good one.
Grandma just told me that.
Okay. Pitch comes in, swing and a miss. Looks like for out number 2 is going to be a swinging strikeout on James McCall. So 2 outs and now runner at first base brings up Creighton Tuzio, the pitcher for the Clarinda Cardinals. Tuzio, number 34, another tall Clarinda Cardinal, is going to approach the plate from the right side. He struck out looking in the second inning.
AJ's got 4 strikeouts on night for the Tigers.
Another pitch comes in, a little bit low, gets away from Roeder. That advances the runner down to second base. Andrew Jones.
The importance of that stop on that block there, though, Dan, because you mentioned pregame how long the backstop is. He could have conceivably took third on that, but
right.
be able to block that pitch kept him only to get 1 base there.
Yeah, kept it on there, and I think he had a little bit of movement towards second base even as the pitch was coming in. So next pitch comes in as a called strike. So that brings the count to 1-1 against Creighton Tuzio, the pitcher for the Clarinda Cardinals. Tuzio watched the third strike in the second inning for the first out of the inning. We'll see what he does here with Schmidt's offering. Comes in, fouls it off down the first base line. So
Coach Kipley like a cat down there trying to get that ball in the dugout. He's cat quick. Kipley's cat quick.
We'll say that since I know he's got people listening. So here we go. 1 ball, 2 strikes against Tuzio. With 2 outs here in the bottom of the second inning, runner at second base for Clarinda. Schmidt looks in, gets a sign, looks back to second, brings the pitch in, and it's a little bit outside, called for ball number 2. Runner at second base for Clarinda. They even the score here in the bottom of the third inning, 3-3 tie on a great night for baseball here in Clarinda, Iowa. Schmidt's looking in, checks the runner at second base, brings offering in home. And it looks like Tuzio is going to nub it off. He's running it on the third baseman. He brings it to first base, and that's the 3rd out of the inning. Erickson to Woods. Nice fielding there by Brett Erickson. Brings the 3rd out of the inning and stops the damage by Clarinda. After 3 complete innings, we're tied at 3 here in Clarinda. We'll be back after these messages.
When you go home, you'll feel good about what you did, and you're doing it for the kids. If they don't have us, they don't have these games.
Welcome back to a beautiful night in Clarinda, Iowa, about 70 degrees, and we're enjoying a great baseball game here. As we get into the top of the 4th inning, we're tied up between Red Oak and Clarinda, 3-3, and Red Oak's going to lead off with their left fielder, number 4, Adam Beyer. Adam was up once before, and he reached on a walk in the second inning. Clarinda coming back from back there from being down 2 runs in the last half of the inning, and even the score, Matt.
You know, every time, Dan, we come to Clarinda, you can't help but think about legendary Dusty Rhodes, the umpire, that legendary figure in Southwest Iowa for many, many years in his umpiring. And
Dusty's called a lot of games here, and I think the last time I saw Dusty Rhodes was sitting up here in the stands as we reminisced about the old times of watching baseball and such.
He did basketball games too.
Yeah, and lots of people around the area know Dusty and know the influence that he's had. The guys tonight we have out on the bases is Chris Johnson, and the guy behind him, behind home plate, is Matt Daniels as umpires for our contest tonight. Adam Beyer, of course, hits from the left side. He reached out as a base on balls in the second inning, kind of got things fired up and ready to go during that inning, and was able to produce for the Tigers. So let's see what we do here now. Beyer takes first pitch way outside for ball number 1.
And I see over here, Dan, to the right side, looks like Brett Erickson's warming up for the Tigers. We may get a pitching change. We'll see.
Okay, as you know, with the pitch count rules that we have, there's several regulations we have to follow. As Beyer looks for pitch number 2, comes in high and outside. Thinking Tuzio's having a little trouble controlling that good fastball he's got. Have to see what happens here as he offers up the next one. Same location, but this one's called a strike on the outside corner.
Adam had quite a battle in his last at bat. He drew a walk. He had to foul out several pitches to draw that walk.
Next pitch from Tuzio is a little bit high. That brings the count to 3-1. Batter's count there, 3 balls and 1 strike. It's to Beyer's advantage. He can look for something to drive now.
With Adam's speed here, though, he might want to drop one down. That third baseman's back down there.
See what the coach calls for. Here comes the pitch, and it's outside. That's going to be another walk from Mr. Adam Beyer. So he walks in the second and walks now in the fourth. Let's see if they get something started as that leads to our right fielder, number 7, Brody Bond. Brody with a fantastic defensive play last half of the inning for an out. Now he gets his chance to come up and try to make a difference for the Tigers from the plate side.
Tuzio with 4 walks on the night, and he's had 3 of the last 6 batters have walked.
We'll have to see what he does with his control here.
There goes Beyer.
Beyer's heading out for second for a stolen base, and he's in there safe. Pitch was high and inside to Bond, and it was a good one to steal a base on.
No hesitation there by Beyer. He just took off and hit the skids on the first pitch on the first movement, and he was gone. So
we're happy to have you join us here on the YouTube channel tonight. Matt Davis and Dan Krause and Aaron West joining you here and get you all your baseball action live from Clarinda, Iowa tonight. Thank you for joining us on the YouTube channel. Got a runner at second base for Red Oak, nobody out. Brody Bond is the batter at home plate, and he's just taken his second ball for a count of 2 balls, no strikes, nobody out.
Something to think about here, trying to lay a bunt down, maybe, Dan, to get Adam over to third here, or try to hit the other way, at least move that runner over if you can.
Yeah. Might keep those options open since Mr. Tuzio's having a little trouble finding the zone.
Or
that's the third 3-0 now.
Or just take him until he throws you a strike, too.
Right. So early in the game, so many different options, and nobody. We got to look at what we're going to have to do here. And now, Adam Beyer is caught off base. And they picked him off at second base.
Great job there by the Cardinals. They brought their guy from second base. Adam was looking at shortstop covering typically, but they changed it up. The Cardinals pick him off there. Alert defense there by the Cardinals.
So now instead of having 1 runner on second base and nobody out, we've got nobody on the bases and 2 out for the Tigers.
Yeah, big play there by the Cardinals.
Pitch comes in on the inside, and that's going to be a base on balls for Mr. Brody Bond. That was a big defensive play for the Cardinals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eliminate that threat out there of possibly of a run coming forward. That's going to bring up number 19, our designated hitter, Mr. Cale Hall. Cale struck out in the second inning. Of course, Cale always very defensive of the plate, very smart player. Snap roll over to first base to try to catch Brody Bond sleeping, but he's back in plenty of time. Tuzio, the pitcher for Clarinda, is trying to get out of this inning after allowing a base runner. First pitch comes in to Cale Hall, and it's called a low for ball number 1.
We'll see if the Tigers can get a run out of here at the bottom of their lineup like the Cardinals did.
I see some patience by the Tigers hitters here because they know that Tuzio's having a little trouble. Now another snap throw at first base. Brody Bond is back in plenty of time. We'll see what Cale Hall does here. He can make his selection, try to find a good pitch to drive where he wants to in the field. Pitch comes in, he swings and misses for strike number 1. 1-1 is the count now.
You got to give, Clarinda, they produce a run on that kind of double steal, and they get an out on the base passes defensively. So
yeah,
those are big moments in the game.
Like we told you, this is a pretty good team we're facing. Another swing by Cale Hall brings the count to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now 2 outs in the top of the 4th inning for the Tigers. It's a tied up ball game, 3-3, Tigers and Cardinals. Snap throw back to first. Brody Bond is back. Clarinda is contesting, saying that they got him before he got back, but the umpire called him safe.
Yeah, I think one thing Clarinda has done is they're going to put Red Oak on their heels on their running now with this.
Yeah, and as it should be.
When short, you can see this Kale's really shortened his lead up over there.
Yeah, and as you can see, and with a tight game like this, you've got to take everything you can. Called third strike out on the outside corner on Cale Hall, and he watches the third strike go by for out number 2.
And that's one thing about that, because Tigers are a team that need to take the extra base when they can get it. They're a type of team that needs to do that. So right now they're on their heels defensively in that base running.
Number 14, Brett Erickson, a third baseman for the Tigers, comes up to the plate. He takes the first pitch inside for ball number 1. Brody Bond over at first base. He's keeping kind of close now. Tuzio's done a good job on keeping him close and making him honest. He thought about stealing the base. Next pitch from Tuzio comes in, straight down this middle called for a strike. 1-1 now is the count against Brett Erickson, third baseman for the Tigers.
Lights are on now.
Yep, sun is down now. It's not so much of a challenge. Next pitch comes in on the outside corner, and that's going to be a called strike for 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs now on the Tigers. We're in the top of the 4th inning, tied with Clarinda, 3-3. 1 runner on first base. Tuzio looks in, brings in the pitch, and it's going to be a called third strike. Sitting down Brett Erickson in the third out for the inning. So a base on balls, a picked off a second base, another base on balls, but that's all that we can produce. After 3.5 innings, it's Red Oak Tigers 3, Clarinda Cardinals 3. We'll be back after these messages.
Foul balls that are caught, if you could please return them to the concession stand.
When you go home, you'll feel good about what you did, and you're doing it for the kids. If they don't have us, they don't have these games.
Welcome back to Clarinda, Iowa, to Municipal Stadium. You know that's where the Clarinda A's and the Clarinda Cardinals play.
Now, Dan, you've been going on all game about how beautiful it is. I'm going to reach into my bag.
You have got to be kidding me.
Put my jacket on.
You have got to be kidding me,
I'm getting
Matt.
a bit chilly.
You're getting your. Are you kidding me?
I think we need to give a new WIMP award at KCSI, and I know who our number 1 recipient is going to be.
It's a bit chilly out.
He
put
his jacket over his knees. Look at that, Dan.
I want you to tell me that there are several people here, and I see maybe 1 or 2 jackets on in the whole crowd.
It is absolutely fantastic.
He puts it over his knees.
You could not ask for a more beautiful evening.
A.J. Schmidt out on the mound for the Tigers. We're tied up 3-3 with the Clarinda Cardinals coming into the bottom of the 4th inning. Going to be led off by their designated hitter, number 3, Leland Woodruff. Woodruff watched the third strike in the 2nd inning for the 2nd out of that inning. See what we can do to try to keep the Clarinda bats quiet here in the 4th inning. A.J. Schmidt's approaching his 4th inning of work.
And you kind of get the sense here, guys, that the next run could be a big run for either team here, because we're kind of getting into the late stages of the game here. So,
well, like you said on the way down here, Matt, nobody sneezes. The first person who sneezes is one who will end up paying the price. So, good, solid baseball so far. And the first pitch in from Schmidt falls in for strike number 1 against Leland Woodruff. Woodruff is a designated hitter. Of course, he's hitting for number 4, Kate Ekstrand, the left fielder. Next pitch from Schmidt comes in. Woodruff swings at it and fouls it back. Quickly down 0-2 on the count against the first Clarinda hitter here in the 4th inning. A.J. Schmidt waiting for the hitter to hit back into the box and run. He looks in, gets the sign from the catcher. He brings his pitch in. Comes in just a bit high, but pretty good fastball pitch, but just a bit high, and moves the count to 1 ball, 2 strikes.
The ump's had a big strike zone, but I think he's been consistent with that, with the big strike zone all game. So that's all you can ask for him. Be consistent with what you're going to call.
Schmidt's next pitch comes in, and it comes in a little bit lower, but still out of the strike zone, so it's going to even the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out here in Clarinda. We're at a 3-3 tie in the bottom of the 4th inning. Clarinda, the home team, up to the bat here in the bottom of the 4th inning. First batter comes in, and he takes a whiff at a curveball and comes up empty for the first out of the inning is a strikeout to Leland Woodruff.
That almost looked like an Ethos pitch. It came in like a rainbow there.
It was a curveball that had a lot of action on it. So next up is Caden Butt. He's the center fielder, number 32. Caden hits from the left side for Clarinda, and he comes up with nobody on and one out.
He singled last time. Actually, he laid that bunt down, if you recall, last time.
Oh, that's right. I'm looking at the wrong batter here. That's right. He got an infield single and reached on second base. So
and
Smith's first pitch was outside, ball one.
Erickson playing in a little bit at third base.
Yeah. Next pitch comes in a little bit high as well for 2 balls, no strikes on Caden Butt.
I'm sure they're watching us up at Stadium 34 in Red Oak. Shout out to Stadium 34.
Thanks for being our sponsor tonight and bringing this game to lots of people. Next pitch from Schmidt comes in on the inside, called strike. So 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Caden Butt is the batter, the center fielder for Clarinda. Next pitch comes in from Schmidt, comes on the outside, not in the zone. That means 3 balls and 1 strike. Hitter's count here. Butt can look for something that he can move the ball. However, the bases are empty with 1 out. Schmidt's pitch comes in.
Ooh!
Nice long drive to the right
drive.
field. Kaus goes all the way back. Brody Bond's chasing that ball all the way to the fence. Butt's going to go to second base, and he's going to go on to third. And the throw comes in. It's not going to be in time. That's a triple for Caden Butt for the Clarinda Cardinals.
Yeah, man, he really smoked that one out to right field and got to the wall and got into third base. A great hit there by Caden Butt. He's 2 for 2 on the night, Dan.
Yeah, no bump there. Boy, he hit that ball solid, and Brody Bond was on his horse right from the beginning. It went all the way to the wall. Now he sits at third base with 1 out, and that's Ryan Wagner, the catcher, that's now coming up for Clarinda.
And, you know, the way Butt stands in that box, he's up ahead in that box. He gets out on front on that breaking pitch, so you want to be up in the box, and I think that helped a little bit in that hit there.
Schmidt asking for permission from the dugout to go from the windup, and they say that's perfectly fine. Caden Butt is over at third base. The first pitch from Schmidt falls in for a strike.
I think Coach
No balls, 1 strike.
I think Coach Everett is asking where that pitch might have been.
Schmidt comes in here, checks the runner at third. Next pitch comes in. It's a curveball. It's out to Brett Erickson at third base. He brings it home, and the throw is there and knocks down the runner, tags him out for no advance, no score by Clarinda as the runner tried to score from third base. Great play by Brett Erickson.
Coach Up is going to talk about that as a shot right to Brett at third base, and he made a good throw at the plate, and the bat was actually kind of in the way as well for the runner coming down. But he made the tag, held on to the ball. I think Coach Everly might be saying that.
Coach Everly's just been caught in the game. Everly was down arguing the call with the umpire, and the umpire was going to have none of it. He turned and threw the coach out of the game.
Well,
just now the assistant coaches are down trying to separate Everly from the home plate umpire.
I think Coach Everly's beef, Dan, is that there was a juggle on the ball by Roeder. The throw from Erickson was low, almost right at the feet of the runners they coming in, and I think he's saying that was loose. But, you know, we go back to that first inning call, Dan, where the Clarinda player scored in that first run, and we thought that might have gone the other way as well against Red Oak. So
Right. Everly's still there, kind of giving his peace of mind to the umpire as to what he thought it was. The umpire wasn't going to have any part of it, and apparently it heard something in the beginning that he didn't like. He immediately turned and tossed Coach Everly from the game. So this could be a major impact on this game because we are tied, a runner at first base, 2 outs now in the bottom of the 4th inning, and Coach Everly has now been dismissed from this game. That's going to bring up the top of the order, Taden Brown, the second baseman.
Yeah, we've had 2 calls at home plate, Dan. Both teams thought they went against them. Red Oak went the Clarinda run first one. They thought maybe they had him out, and certainly there, Coach Everly and the Cardinals thought they had a run scored there, and they were called out. So, bang plays at the home plate, Dan.
So it's going to bring up Taden Brown, the second baseman. Taden Brown has went down in the first inning by looking at a third strike, and he flied out to right field in the third inning by a fantastic play by Brody Bond. 2 outs now in the bottom of the 4th inning. Runner at first for Clarinda. Schmidt brings the pitch in, and it goes in the outside part of the plate. Call the ball. 1 ball, no strikes now on Taden Brown, the second baseman for Clarinda. 2 outs now in the bottom of the 4th inning. And we're tied up 3-3 here. A tight ball game here in Clarinda tonight. You know, next pitch comes in a little bit low.
A manager injection can work 2 ways. That can fire up your team, or it could go either way here. So
right.
And like I say, the Cardinals are a lot of seniors on this team, and here's one right here, an outstanding player, Taden Brown, to bat.
He's got 2 ball, no strike count on him. Schmidt checks the runner at first, tosses over there, makes sure he keeps back, and he's honest.
I'm surprised Coach Eberly didn't go to the booth for Aaron to review that call. We could have zoomed that in on our replay. And
that's right. We could have
gone to the commissioner's office for a replay on that.
I don't know that we have that ability here in Iowa high school baseball. Schmidt brings the pitch in. He comes down a little bit high for it now. That's going to bring that count to 3 balls and no strikes against Taden Brown. Taden Brown is the top hitter, the number 1 hitter in the lineup for Clarinda Cardinals. It'll be interesting to see.
He's sitting in a good hitters count here. I think you turn him loose here, Dan.
Pitch comes in way too high, and that's going to bring Taden Brown down to first base on balls. Base runners at first and second now. Ryan Wagner at second base. Taden Brown to first base. That's going to bring up Ronnie Weidman, the right fielder, number 8 for Clarinda.
2-out hits for RBIs, Dan, are like finding change in your couch. You don't expect it, but when it happens, man, you are grateful.
And let's see if it's just small change now or folding money as we have runners at first and second and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning for Clarinda.
And there's a hits batter. I'm going to say it did not hit him.
Called strike. Yeah, the batter indicated that he got hit by the pitch. The umpire looked at him and said, no, that's a strike, and you did not get hit.
Assistant coach Carson Rodell's now in charge of the team and playing coach third base, and he's questioning what happened there.
We know that Clarinda has a history of getting a lot of hitters advance with hit by pitch.
Weidman, in fact, leads the Hawk 10 in hit pitch with 16 on the year. So
Weidman's up there at bat. He's getting ready to go at it. He thought he got hit by the pitch, but the umpire called it strike number 1. And here we go with a count of 0-1. 2 out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Schmidt checks the runner at second, checks the runner at first, gets a call from home plate, and here comes the pitch. Weidman swings, and it knocks the ball, and it rolls foul. And Roeder does a smart thing and jumps on it as the ball goes foul. That's just a foul ball on a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes now. No balls, 2 strikes is what I got for a count.
You get the sense here, Dan, that this is a big inning because momentum can shift here if the Tigers can get out of this inning like they run. Of course, the Cardinals can get a hit here, man, with the ejection of their manager. They'll take the momentum.
Schmidt checks the runner at second base, and time is called at home plate. Ronnie Weidman steps back in there. He's the right fielder for the Clarinda Cardinals.
Is the count right on the board, Dan?
No, I think we have 0 balls and 2 strikes, but I haven't seen the umpire correct the scoreboard yet. So
we're guessing.
Schmidt pulls in.
We think it's 2 strikes.
We think it's 2 strikes. Schmidt brings it in. Ball's a little bit outside. Still no indication from the umpire on what the count is.
2 strikes.
Okay. 1 ball, 2 strikes is what they've got up there now. He's going to correct it by the umpire. Schmidt looks in to get the call for the pitch. He's checking the runner at second base. Clarinda's got runners at first and second. And there's a ground ball hit down to first base. Picked up by Braden Wood. Steps on the bat. And that's going to end the threat for the Clarinda Cardinals as we remain tied after 4 innings here in Clarinda. Red Oak Tigers 3, Clarinda Cardinals 3. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
When you go home, you'll feel good about what you did, and you're doing it for the kids. If they don't have us, they don't have these games.
Welcome back to Clarinda. We have a 3-3 tie between the Red Oak Tigers and the Clarinda Cardinals here. Looking at for the Tigers, they started the scoring there in the 3rd inning, coming back down from being down 3-1. And we started off with a fly out to right field, and then 2 base on balls led to Dawson Bond stepping up and hitting a 2 RBI double. And then they scored an additional run in that inning with the run coming in from Bond after he stole third base. And then A.J. Schmidt had a sacrifice, a ground out to first base, 3 unassisted when Dawson Bond scored. That got the 3 runs for the Tigers. Now we're coming up here in the top of the 5th inning. It's Chase Roeder leading off for the Tigers.
Yeah, and the Tigers got a chance here, Dan, in this inning with the top of their inning coming up, top of their order coming up to jump out here. And as this game narrows down, of course, high school baseball is a 7-inning game, and here we are now going into what, top of the
5th inning.
Top of the 5th. So yeah, it's a it's getting down to crunch time here. So
Like Matt mentioned, we got lights on here at Municipal Stadium here in Clarinda.
And I tell you what, folks, if you go friends that are baseball fans, get them tuned into this. If you're not here, watch it, get it on your dial, because this has all the makings of a classic.
Very good crowd for both sides here. Lots of support for each team as we go into the top of the 5th inning. Called first strike against Chase Roeder. He leads off for the Tigers. First pitch from Tuzio is a called first strike. Next pitch coming in, comes a little bit on the inside, so that evens out the count at 1-1.
Tuzio's still bringing it. I mean, I don't notice any drop-off in the velocity, Dan. Still seems like he's got good snap on that fastball.
It just seemed like he's going to trust his stuff and get it where it needs to go. Next pitch comes in. Chase drops down, tries to bunt, fouls it off towards the third base side. That's going to move the count to 1-2 strikes against Roeder. Nobody out here in the top of the 5th inning. We're tied up between Clarinda and Red Oak 3-3. Beautiful night for baseball, and Tuzio's about ready to bring in his next offering. It's a curveball that sails in a little bit high.
Just a bit outside.
I was wondering which one of us is going to be the first one to get to that tonight. 2-2, 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Next pitch comes in high as well. That's going to fill up the count. 3-2, nobody out here.
You know, and I don't say because Tuzio's a large guy, 6'6". I mean, you've got to work to get that ball down low at that size frame. It's
right. But you don't put a number 1 hitter in there unless he's does really well with his hitting. So let's see what Chase Roeder does here. Offering from Tuzio comes in, and it's going to be called a third strike. Watch the third strike there for the first out in the 5th inning.
And Thump's been consistent, I think, in that strike call. And you just got to know as a batter, if it's pretty close, you're going to have to be swinging that bat tonight.
He brings up Landon Callis. Landon's our center fielder, and where's number 10? He's hitting from the left side tonight.
I got the sense here Landon's going to do some damage here.
Let's say he ground to third base and then walked a base on balls in the 3rd inning. He's up here, the second batter in the 5th inning.
They're playing Landon to pull. If you get one to that left side in the gap, he could go with the speed.
There's a pitch that appeared to be outside, but it got called a strike by the umpire, so he evens up the count 1-1 against Landon Cows. Tuzio's pitch. That's outside that time, so 2-1. Like I said, Tuzio's pretty effective with that fastball, but he's having a little trouble with his location. And Landon Cows is a seasoned hitter. He knows what to look for and knows what he can do with it. 2 balls, 1 strike against Cows. Next pitch comes in, goes to the outside again, takes the count to 3-1.
Yeah, Landon's trying to look something inside, and so far Tuzio's been living on that outside.
Call it 3-1 as a hitter's count, Matt. Why do we call it a hitter's count?
Because you do things.
He can do just like that. Wait for him to get in the zone, which he did not do, and it makes Landon Cows get a free base on ball down to first base. Dawson Bond now up to bat. He's the shortstop for the Tigers. Dawson wears number 1, and he was the one that caused the 2-run double, 2 RBI double.
McCall's really guarding that third base line down there, Dan. It's going to be hard to get one, but there's a big hole there between third and short. Short's guard shading up towards the middle.
Yeah, lots of room out there. Let's see what he wants to do with it now. Kals leads a little bit off first base. Bond acts like he's going to bunt. Pitch goes actually behind Bond, and Kals has no trouble taking second base on that pitch.
Yeah,
stolen base for Landon Kals.
So you got a runner in position here in second, 1 out. Number 3 batter up, your best batter. So
Landon Kals out there, second base. He's checked by Tuzio. Tuzio brings the pitch in. Swing and a miss by Dawson Bond. Evens up the count at 1 with 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning. Like we said, Landon Kals, the runner at second base. Tuzio checks him. 1-1 count on Bond. The next pitch comes in. Bond gets a bat on it, and he's driving out in the short start field. And right fielder comes in and makes the play on the catch.
Nice.
That's Weidman out there playing right field for Clarinda. Comes in and catches the fly ball hit by Dawson Bond. So we got a runner at second base now, 2 outs on the Tigers.
A.J. Schmidt now at the bat. He's 0 for 2 on the night.
Schmidt had a nice play hitting towards the first baseman, though, to score that run there in the 3rd inning, scored the 3rd run for the Tigers. It's a nice sacrifice that he put the ball over there. Can't really call it that, but that's what the end result was. Pitch comes in, and it hits Schmidt right on the shoulder. He's going to get a free 90 for that. We're going to have runners at first and second with 2 outs.
That's a hard way to earn a first base bag, but A.J. will take it. Coach, head coach, basketball boys coach Ronnie DeVries and his family listening to the game tonight.
Okay. Nice
Watching the
to have
game. They're up in Sioux City. I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they're at a Taylor Swift concert. I don't know.
I don't think Taylor can be two different places.
We have one Grace Davis watching as
Grace
well.
Davis down
Grace
in
is
Jeff
watching
City,
us.
Missouri.
We better do it right, or Grace will take us on that. That's going to bring up number 15, Braden Woods. Braden's our first baseman tonight. Braden had a single in the second inning and a fly out to second base in the third inning. Comes up here in the fifth inning with 2 outs. Runners at first and second in this first pitch. It's a called strike.
Good pitch there by Tuzio. Get ahead in the count early on 1. This is a big spot here for Tuzio.
Braden Wood steps in there. He's going to be in the right side of the plate. Kind of an open stance for a batting stance. Got runners at first and second. Tuzio's going to stop his delivery and act like he's going to throw back to second. And Kaus is back, no problem.
Corinda's doing something a little unusual. They've got their second baseman shading that run. They really want to limit that lead off from second base. And there he goes, taking the third, hit the short.
And the ground off to shortstop, and he brings it on to first base for the third out of the inning. Nice fielding there by the shortstop. Takes it on to first base. Brings the third out for the Tigers, and we go into the bottom of the fifth inning, tied 3-3. I want to thank you for joining us on the YouTube channel tonight for action between Clarinda and Red Oak. We're tied 3-3, and we'll be back after these messages from our sponsors.
When you go home, you'll feel good about what you did, and you know you're doing it for the kids. If they don't have us, they don't have these games.
Welcome back here to Clarinda, Iowa at Municipal Stadium. We've got a great ball game on tap here. We're going into the bottom of the fifth inning. Clarinda and Red Oak tied at 3, and A.J. Schmidt is now having a conversation with the home plate umpire. He's going to go to the mound, get his warm-up pitches in. Clarinda is going to come up with Cole Baumgart here leading in the bottom of the fifth inning, and he got a single in the first and a single in the third. So let's see what they can do now.
What a play by Baumgart, though, Dan, in that inning. I mean, he charged in on the ball. He had to advance on that ball and made a good running throw. The throw was on the money to get a big out there, the third out in that inning.
Amidst a lot of activity, he had a runner coming from second to third, he had a runner going from first to second, and he just stayed focused on what he needed to be done, and he knew it would just take that last out to end the inning.
And the Tigers haven't solved Baumgart to plate. He's 2 for 2, and you think here's a good chance for the Cardinals to get a leadoff batter on here.
Yeah. So anyway, we've done on the keys of the game was jump on the game early is what Red Oak needed to do. They had to come back from behind to do it, but they evened it up. And, you know, Clarinda's had some nice, solid pitching, but we need to keep Clarinda off the bases. That's another key to the game. Let's see what they can do here in the fifth inning. Swing by Baumgart comes up empty for strike number 1.
Yeah, a little antsy there on that first pitch. AJ goes something off speed there.
Cole Baumgart, like we said, shortstop for the Clarinda Cardinals. He likes to stand on the inside part of that box as well. Pitch gets by the catcher and Roeder there, but no problems with that. Nobody on base.
I'm not sure how long AJ's gone in the game this year, but we're getting to a point where, you know, you might be thinking here that Erickson may be on deck soon to be on the mound for the Tigers.
Could be happening. Next pitch comes in a little bit outside. It's going to be 2 balls and 1 strike against Cole Baumgart for Clarinda.
Cole is a tremendous player. Has been battling that shoulder injury, and he's playing shortstop. I believe first time he's played shortstop all year tonight.
Next pitch comes in from Schmidt. It's fouled off by Baumgart right at the plate. That's going to even the count at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out here. Bottom of the fifth inning. We're tied up with Clarinda and Red Oak 3-3. Thank you for joining us here on the KCSI YouTube channel. Dan Krause, Matt Davis, Aaron West. Happy to be bringing you the action live from Clarinda, Iowa tonight. Schmidt's next pitch comes in. Baumgart gets on it. Nice pitch hit out to right field. And it looks like Brody Bond is underneath it and records the first out for the Tigers.
Nice job there by Brody.
Fly out to right field for out number 1. It's going to bring up Andrew Jones, the first baseman for Clarinda. Brody Bond playing a good game out there in right field tonight.
Yeah, he's made all the plays so far, you know, and he plays as shallow as you do. You want to play. I'm a proponent of playing more shallow than deep. You're more likely to miss balls coming in than if it's hit over the head. It's
First pitch from Schmidt comes in, a little bit low, ball 1.
It'll eventually stop at the wall, Dan. That's how I always play.
There is something out there that will stop unless you can hit it hard enough to clear over the top.
That's right. It'll eventually stop.
Yeah, baseball is a game of boundaries, and it's pretty much going to stop. You just have to go get it then. That's the problem. Next pitch comes in from Schmidt, and it's on the outside corner, called for strike number 1. Count is 1-1 with 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Red Oak and Clarinda tied at 3.
Carson Rydell now managing the Cardinals as head coach Rod Eber has been ejected.
There's a hit by
almost
hit by Jones, goes down the first base line, almost takes out Chris Johnson, our first base umpire.
Chris Johnson, an older man, was able with his speed to get away, harkening back to his Stanton Viking.
I love it how you pick on your friends, but Chris, he moved pretty good for an old man there. Just a foul ball though, it moves the count to 1-2. Next pitch comes in a little bit short. It's going to even the count at 2-2. A.J. Schmidt on the mound for the Tigers. He's facing Andrew Jones, the first baseman, number 25 for Clarinda. 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Count is 2-2 against Jones. Nobody on base for Clarinda. Next pitch comes in. Jones bounces it to second baseman. Brown throw out to first base is in time. Roeder fields for the Tigers, brings it over to Woods, and that's 2 outs now in the bottom of the 5th inning for Clarinda.
We can't call that a Sunday hop. We'll call that a Saturday hop.
Okay.
To Roeder.
It's a good hop nonetheless. Brings up James McCall. James is the third baseman, number 2. He hits from the right side for Clarinda. James McCall tonight had reached on an error and has struck out. Nobody on base for Clarinda, 2 outs, bottom of the 5th inning. First pitch comes in a little bit high. Called ball number 1.
And that's one sign when you start getting a little fatigued and tired, Dan, you'll see the pitches up more than they are down. And I think this is going to be one of, so far to this point, longest outing of the year for AJ possibly. He might have gone to the 5th before.
Next pitch goes a little bit outside and it falls away from the catcher. Got 2 balls, no strikes on James McCall. Like I said, reached on an error in the 2nd inning, and he was struck out in the 3rd inning. Pitch from Schmidt comes in, falls in just as a strike on the outside part of the corner.
AJ has used that fastball very selectively tonight, but he's really been able to get that breaking stuff over so far at this point in the game.
Good control of that, and that makes all the difference when you're pitching in the game. Schmidt's next pitch comes in, hit out to the shortstop. Bond's got it, picks it up, throws it on to first base, overthrows the first baseman. And that's going to cause McCall to go on to second base.
Yeah, I just think there's a little bit too much time there. It's one of those places it's a routine play, but you got a little too much time there. And the throw sailed high on Dawson, and that'll put McCall at second base, and the Cardinals have a chance here.
Little uncharacteristic error by Bond, especially the second one for the night, but that's going to have a runner at second with 2 outs. Creighton Tuzio is going to be the batter. He's the pitcher.
Tuzio 0-2 on the night.
He watched the 3rd strike in the 2nd inning and grounded out to third base in the 3rd inning. Schmidt checks the runner at second, steps off, and now he acts like there's nobody there to cover for second base. Roeder's going to go out and have a conversation with Schmidt, just make sure we're on the same page, kind of in a pressure situation here. Tie ball game. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. Beautiful night here in Clarinda, Iowa. 3-3 is your score. We got 2 outs on Clarinda in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Bottom of the 5th inning, and we got a runner at second base. But the pitcher, Creighton Tuzio, is at bat now with Schmidt's looking in, gets a sign, checks the runner at second base, brings in the pitch inside, and it's going to be called ball 1.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep an eye on Schmidt here now.
You might be thinking here if AJ doesn't get this guy, could be a pitching change here. We'll see where.
And do what you can with 2 outs, and there's going to be a
pop
high in the air. Bond is under it. He's calling others off. He gets under it and makes the catch for the 3rd out of the inning, and the Tigers get out of it. It's a pop out to the shortstop for the 3rd out, and after 5 complete innings, we've got a tie ball game in here at Clarinda. Red Oak Tigers 3, Clarinda Cardinals 3. We'll be back after a few words from our sponsors.
Subscribe to the KCSI Radio YouTube channel today. Interviews, parades, events, contests, and more. Subscribe to KCSI Radio on YouTube and get notified every time something fun happens.
Back here at Eberly Field, It's all tied up. Cardinals of Clarinda 3, Tigers of Red Oak 3. We're going to go to the top of the 6th. And, Dan, this has been a game, really fascinating game, great game, entertaining game. And I think you got to tip your hat to Tuzio and A.J. Schmidt here. These guys have really battled and done a good job on the mound for the most part, especially A.J. He's going deep so far through 5 innings, and Tuzio out here now towing the slab to start the 6th.
I think we got something caught on with Aaron here. We're going to be selling ads for lots of baseball games if we keep having games of this kind of quality to bring you, and it's been fantastic. Of course, the game we brought you earlier in June there against Clarinda wound up being a victory by the Red Oak Tigers with a score of 3-1. And good game here tonight as we're getting into the top of the 6th inning, tied 3-3, leading off number 4, Adam Beyer, the left fielder for the Tigers.
Yeah, district championship on the line here tonight, Dan. 2 innings to go here, and the game has now shrunk down to a 2-inning affair. And for the Tigers, the key game was to stay into the game, and they've done that.
What did I say on the way down here, Matt?
Yep.
What did I say on the way down here? Who's going to sneeze?
A lot of things.
Who's going to
sneeze
sneeze first? Who's going to sneeze first, right? And
sneeze.
right now
you keep using the sneeze, but
yeah. Well, we're worried about you having to cover up after being so cold with the 70
I'm not the
degrees
only one with a jacket on, I might add. There's a lot of people with jackets on.
All right, Beyer steps in, and here comes Tuzio's first offering here in the 6th inning. It's going to be right down the middle, called for a strike. Adam Beyer got a base on balls in the 2nd inning and reached on a base on balls in the 4th inning as well. Pretty selective hitter. Let's see if he can find something that he wants to go after. He watches the 2nd strike come in.
Good pitch there by Tuzio. He's gotten ahead of the count 0-2, so he can really kind of dictate here what he wants to throw.
Fastball, both pitches, both 2 different locations. And Beyer goes to go after the 3rd pitch, comes up empty.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening on that one right there.
That's right. Good pitch placement by Tuzio there. So if he was showing any signs of weariness, he kind of put those to rest there. Brings up our right fielder, number 7, Brody Bond. Brody's played a great game tonight. In the 2nd inning, he struck out, and he got a base on balls in the 4th inning. First pitch called for a strike.
Tuzio's on his game here, and he's nothing but strikes so far.
And he's all business. As soon as he gets the ball back, he's ready to go. Brody Bond sits back in the box. 2nd pitch comes in. It's a little bit outside, and your count is 1 ball, 1 strike on Brody Bond. 1 out here in the top of the 6th inning. Tied up score between the Red Oak Tigers and the Clarinda Cardinals, tied at 3. Next pitch comes in. It's a called strike.
Yeah, Tuzio really pounding the zone here. He's pretty much going gas right here in this inning so far.
And he's got a lot of confidence on that fastball. He brings it in, and they're doing what they can. That was a low strike in the outside corner, and it was a called 3rd strike against the hitter.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a pitching adjustment here in the lower half of the Tiger lineup. Just go straight power here.
Cale Hall now comes to the plate for the Tigers. He wears number 19. He's our designated hitter tonight. Cale has struck out twice, once looking and 1 swinging. Let's see what he can do here. First pitch comes in as a called strike for Tuzio.
This is a big bat for a reason, Dan. If you can get this runner on here, you get your 9-hole hitter up, Erickson. And even if Brett can't do something, that gives your top of the lineup to start the 7th. So this is a big bat here for the Tigers.
Tuzio throws a 59-footer there and bounces in front of the plate and comes in for ball number 1. Current count is 1 ball, 1 strike against our number 8 hitter, Cale Hall, the designated hitter. Next pitch comes in. It's the outside corner for strike number 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes against Cale Hall. Here's the next pitch. Comes in. Hall offers at it and comes up empty.
Strikes
good
out
afternoon.
The side.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Is that the phrase you used?
Yeah.
That's what happens to the Tigers in the top of the 6th inning. 3 up and 3 down. We remain tied at 3 here in Clarinda. We'll be back after a few words from our sponsors.
Subscribe to the KCSI Radio YouTube channel today. Interviews, parades, events, contests, and more. Subscribe to KCSI Radio on YouTube and get notified every time something fun happens.
One.
Brief meeting out at home plate about the ball that was being used during that time, and the home plate umpire is now walking towards the Clarinda dugout. I don't know if he's going to have a conversation or just take the ball out of play. But A.J. Schmidt's now coming to the mound for the bottom of the 6th inning for the Tigers. We've got a good one here, folks. Tied at 3 here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Well, normally you don't think you can gain momentum from your defense, but that was such an impressive inning there by Tuzio. 3 strikeouts in that inning. He hopped off the mound, and that kind of energized that Cardinal bench here a little bit. So let's see if the Cardinals here in the bottom of the 6th They've got who they got coming up, Dan? They got Woodruff,
Butt, and Wagner.
So they got their 6, 7, 8 hitter coming up here. So A.J. Smith going out there now for the start the 6th inning at least.
We want to say thanks to our sponsors that make it possible for us to be here. Davis Taylor Insurance, Easter's True Value, Shore Motor Company, Stadium 34. I think they're watching it at Stadium.
I hope they are.
And Elizabeth Davison with Farm Bureau. Thanks to those folks. And Clarinda Regional Health Center
and
for being our
I
scoreboard
want to comment,
sponsor.
Aaron, it's great to have the sponsors from both communities and so involved.
Yes.
They see the importance of this game, and thank you for allowing us to bring it here for you tonight.
I think we've got the Hollins listening, John and Elaine Hollins. I get these texts a picture of people, TVs, living rooms. I don't know who they are, but I think it's the Hollins.
Designated hitter for the Clarinda Cardinals, number 3, Leland Woodruff steps in now, and Schmidt brings his first offering in. Comes in a little bit high and inside for ball number 1. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Woodruff 2 strikeouts so far tonight, 0 for 2.
Nobody on base for Clarinda. Next pitch comes in from Schmidt, and it goes outside. 2 balls, no strikes on Woodruff.
I don't think Coach Erickson's going to go too long with A.J. here this inning, be my guess. We'll see what happens here.
Third offering from Schmidt comes in, and Woodruff hits a ball out to straight center field. It looks like House has got a beat on it, reaches up, makes the play for out number 1, fly out to center field.
You know, a surprising swing there, a 2-0 count, Dan, and I mean, be aggressive at the plate there, but maybe AJ is a little bit losing a little bit there, maybe take one there, but Woodruff swung away, and I think AJ will take that.
Here's been the bane of the Tigers' existence tonight, Mr. Caden Butt, number 32.
And look how far up in that box he is, Dan. He's getting out ahead on that breaking stuff from AJ.
You can see it on the camera watching on our YouTube channel there. He's trying to give an eye on the pitch. Takes strike number 1. Caden Butt hit a single in the 2nd inning, but he hit that RBI triple.
Yeah, but
not an RBI, but he hit a triple in the 4th inning and then was tagged out at home plate trying to score.
He's
on a ground out.
2 for 2 on the night.
Next pitch comes in a little bit low. It evens up the count at 1-1.
Butt and Baumgart have the hits for the Cardinals tonight.
We have 1 out. It shows no outs on the scoreboard, but there is 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Next pitch flies a little bit to the outside. 2 balls and 1 strike on Caden Butt, the center fielder for the Clarinda. Next pitch from Schmidt comes in. Right on the inside corner is a called strike. That evens up the count at 2-2. Schmidt looking out on the mound, getting ready for his pitch. Looks in, gets the pitch he needs to throw. Caden Butt waiting for the pitch to come in. And it is a called 3rd strike on the outside corner. That's the 2nd out for the bottom of the 6th inning.
Again, I think this umpire has been very consistent, Dan. He's had a big strike zone, but he's been very consistent with that.
Well, you got a hitter that's had a single and a triple, and when they just watch the 3rd strike go by, that makes you wonder about, where they're making that judgment. So that brings up Ryan Wagner. He's the catcher, number 9.
AJ with 6 strikeouts on it. There's a solid hit to shortstop.
Ground out to shortstop. Bond picks it up, throws it on to first base, and that records the 3rd out. 6-3 for out number 3 in the 6th inning. We're going to move to the 7th inning. Tied score here in Clarinda. Red Oak Tigers 3, Clarinda Cardinals 3. We'll be back for the top of the 7th inning in just a few minutes after a word from our sponsors.
Subscribe to the KCSI Radio YouTube channel today. Interviews, parades, events, contests, and more. Subscribe to KCSI Radio on YouTube and get notified every time something fun happens.
Warrior, if you're just tuning in, you've missed a good game so far, but thanks for joining us here on the KCSI YouTube channel. We're going in the top of the 7th inning. Red Oak tied with Clarinda 3-3.
Dan, we have a guest commentator here. Tell me who your name is, young man.
Camden.
Camden, what's your last name, Camden?
Youngberg.
Camden Youngberg.
Youngberg is my spotter here tonight. He's keeping me eyes on the field here.
Camden, you stay real close to Matt because he could use all the help he can get.
Yeah, I need help. Yeah, absolutely. But, hey, big inning there by A.J. Schmidt. And here we go. The Tigers, we're in the last inning here, all tied up, Dan. And Tuzio on – actually, the Cardinals have a new pitcher on the mound. Let's see who that is, Dan.
Looks like a left-handed thrower here. We're going to get a number
on number 16. Give me a number on that, Dan.
Number 16 for the Clarinda Cardinals is Anthony Webb. He's a senior, and he's going to be taking over the duties here on the mound. Anthony Webb.
So, Dan, I seem to have lost my spectacles. Do you see my glasses anywhere? Oh, here they are. I can't see, Dan.
They're right there in front of you,
I
Matt.
got
All right,
they got
so
underneath my
he's
blanket.
wearing-
I had my blanket.
He's wearing his coat. He's got a blanket. He's got an assistant now, and he can't find his glasses.
Does this say something, Dan? I mean, is this telling a blanket, an assistant can't find his glasses?
I'm just glad that Matt's here because he provides great insight and some great statistics.
Dave and Mary Fields, my neighbors, are watching on YouTube channel. Hello,
Fantastic.
Fields.
Hi, Dave. Hi, Mary.
Hey, please check on my house. Make sure my dog's okay while you're there, please, Fields. Thank you.
All right, number 16, Anthony Webb is going to take the mound for Clarinda, but we're going to bring up number 14, Brett Erickson. He's our third baseman.
So
in the third inning tonight, Brett flew out to right field, and in the fourth inning, he watched the third strike. So let's see what he can get started for the Tigers here in the top of the seventh inning. Beautiful night for baseball, beautiful game here at Municipal Stadium in Clarinda, Iowa. Thank you for joining us on the KCSI YouTube channel. First pitch comes in from Webb, and it comes in low. It's ball number 1.
Anthony Webb, 2-2 on year, 18-inning pitch. He's got a 4.67 ERA, 18 strikeouts on the year, 9 bases on balls, and 18 innings of pitching for the Cardinals this year.
Next pitch comes in, and it's a called strike, 1-1 against Brett Erickson. Well, that gives the answer as to why Tuzio was giving it all gas and making aggressive in the last inning. He knew that was his last inning work.
Yep.
So, put down the Tigers 1-2-3, but now we got a new pitcher we're working with. 1-1 count on Brett Erickson here in the top of the seventh inning. Next pitch comes outside for a second ball.
And Webb would be more of your soft tossing breaker type pitcher, kind of like what AJ is, where Tuzio is a little bit more of a power pitcher. So a different look here for the Tigers. Left-hander, soft tossing thrower versus Tuzio, the hard throwing right-hander.
Brett's a smart hitter. He'll look for one that he can do something with. Next pitch comes in a little bit high, and that moves it to the hitter's count of 3-1. Lots of options here. Nobody out. Top of the seventh inning. Let's see what Brett chooses to do. And the sign, of course, he'll get from Dad down at third base, find out what he's going to take as far as this next pitch is concerned. Webb's offering comes in and is in the inside, and that puts Brett Erickson on base with nobody out in the top of the seventh inning.
Tigers with a lead-off walk there here in the top of the seventh.
And my friend Denny Matthews, longtime broadcaster for the Kansas City Royals, said late innings walks will haunt, and we're hoping that's the case here. That's going to bring us back to the top of the order. Chase Roeder. He's the second baseman, and Chase has struck out twice tonight and had a base on balls. And he pops it, not only tried to make a bunt, but it kind of went into the air towards first base, falls to the ground softly for strike number 1.
And there might have been a bunt call on there, I'm sure there was, but when that ball's inside like that, you got to pull that bat back, and that could have been a pass ball there.
No balls, 1 strike on Chase Roeder here in the top of the seventh inning. Nobody out, but we've got a runner on first base in the form of Brett Erickson.
We'll see what Coach Erickson wants to do with Brett over there first. If we're going to send a straight steal or what? We're going to have him a bunt.
I can see why they're looking to do that because Mr. Webb's delivery coming in towards home base is very slow and very deliberate. So maybe looking at a possibility of a stolen base here. Second pitch came in as a strike, though. We got 0-2 on
I think Coach Erickson will take that bunt off here.
0-2 on Roeder, nobody out. We'll see what Webb does here. Very slow delivery to the plate, and it comes in low. First ball, 1 ball, 2 strikes against Chase Roeder. He's the number 1 hitter on the Red Oak lineup tonight. Top hitter in the lineup. This Webb has a very slow and very deliberate delivery, so it's going to be interesting to see if they can use that to their advantage. Checks the runner at first, looks in. Now he brings the pitch into home, and the foul straight back. It's going to be back into the foul as it falls into the third. And a great play there by Scott Bruce on the Red Oak side.
An outstanding play. A bad throw, though. We'll give him an E on the throw.
Chase Roeder now with a count of 1-2.
Aaron Schmidt actually dropped the throw from Mr. Bruce. So maybe
they need a little practice. Next pitch from Webb comes in.
Does it?
And it's foul ball. Boy, a nice rip down the third base line by Chase Roeder, but it went on the wrong side of the foul line.
You know, one thing I thought Chase did with her, Dan, he waited on that pitch because they've seen nothing but gas from Tuzio, and now you've kind of got to slow that swing down on the pitching here from the new Cardinal pitcher.
Right.
So
you're used to that gas that was run by Tuzio.
Speed your bat up, now you got to slow that bat down.
So it makes a big difference. It makes a difference there. So we'll see what we got going on here now. The 1-2 count. Here's the next pitch comes in, and Roeder swings and misses for the first out.
Big strikeout there. Inning. Yeah, big strikeout there for Webb. Went high on that one and got up above.
Erickson still stranded at first base, but now that brings up Landon Cowes. He's our center fielder. Whereas number 10, Landon's ground out to third base. He reached on the base on balls twice, once in the third and once in the fifth inning.
Landon hasn't had a real good pitch yet to handle. Let's see if Landon gets one here. It's going to be lefty on lefty here, though.
They would think they'd want to move Erickson from first to second base.
Good pitch there.
There was a call strike. Looked a little inside. Wide zone by our home plate umpire, Matt Daniels, tonight.
Nice pitch there by Webb to get ahead on Cowes.
No balls, 1 strike on Landon Cowes here. Top of the 7th inning, we're tied 3-3. Cowes offers the second pitch that comes in and fouls it off towards the third base side. Just clears the dugout out of play. He quickly goes to a count of no balls, 2 strikes. 1 out in the top of the 7th inning.
And again, you saw another example that Dan Landon has slowed that bat down through that zone, trying to time a lot of different type pitching technique from Webb from Tuzio.
Right, and the next pitch comes in, goes way outside, and it looks like Erickson's going to try, and he's going to make it to second base on a pitch that lost control by the freshman catcher, the 8th grade catcher.
Well, we'll call that a wild pitch. That was in the dirt. He actually stopped it, but he's in scoring position now with 1 out, so we'll see if Landon can come through here.
Wagner did all he could to try to control that pitch, but Erickson finds himself down at second base with 1 out for the Tigers. Next pitch comes in, and Cowes drives the ball. Nice long drive, but it's going to be a loud strike as it falls out of play down the first base side.
And again, a timing issue. He was out in front on that. It's just it's a challenge,
right,
to adjust.
Seen Landon's older brother take some pitches like that and place it over the right field wall when he played ball just here a couple years ago. Runner second base is Erickson. Here comes the pitch from Webb into Cowes, and it's going to be high for ball number 2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning. We're in a 3-3 tie between Red Oak and Clarinda.
Big hole on the left side. Dan, if Landon can go with the pitch that way.
Mm-hmm. Runner at second base, Brett Erickson. Landon Cowes is going to be able to down the first base. It's misplayed by the first baseman.
They're going to send him.
They're sending Cowes home. It looks like the throw's going to be wide. Erickson's going to score, and Cowes is going to go down to second base on the misplayed ball at first base.
Yeah, just a little dribbler down the first base line, Dan, and it got through the legs of Jones, and Coach Erickson then sent his son around third, go for home, son, and he got in there. And the Tigers take the lead in the top of the 7th.
Brett Erickson very smartly right down the line, went right for the plate, and didn't pay any attention to the play that was happening out in the field, and that was good because the throw from first base went way up the third base line, and Erickson was able to come in and score. And Tigers take the lead here in the top of the 7th.
The key on that, though, Dan, when Erickson came around third, he kept coming around third as a good base runner. You want to make that turn on third, so if you get waved, there was no hesitation. He was running, anticipating a possible go sign, and that allowed him to get in there at home, Dan.
Right.
So
I'm going to have to call that an error on the first baseman.
Yes.
It was an easy ground ball that goes to. All he had to do was pick it up and step on the base. He misplayed it, and then when he picked up the ball to throw it home, when he saw Erickson was going to score, had the wide throw. Red Oak Tigers take the lead 4-3 here in the top of the 7th inning. 1 out and a runner at second base, and Landon Cowes. That brings up Dawson Bond. He's our shortstop. Where's number 1? Dawson has struck out tonight and had a double, a 2-run double. And in the last, he flied out to right field.
Now, normally you would send Cowes the third here, especially with that, that slow delivery. But I don't know if you wouldn't gain much here on a steal of third. I think you want Dawson at the bat here. So I think you're going to keep Cowes at second.
Second pitch comes in as another called strike. There's 2 called strikes against Dawson Bond so far, so now Dawson has to kind of shorten the swing, decide what he wants to do with it and what he can do to move Landon Cowes from second to third. Here, Webb's looking in. Here comes the pitch. Bonds gets under the pitch, fouls it straight up. This one looks like it's playable. The catcher is now under the pitch and makes the out on the pop fly by Dawson Bond for out number 2.
Now I think you might want to think about sending Cowes to third. They're going to keep him close because if you get him to third, Dan, a pass ball, a wild pitch, key to get that score home. So we'll see if Coach Erickson puts something on here to get Cowes to third. They're going to shorten up. The Cardinals been playing their second baseman.
A.J. Smith at the plate now, number 3
for the
Tigers. And it's a foul back for the first offering.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I think there might have been a missed sign there or something because Coach Erickson's upset, but I think there was a straight steal there. Cowes had that bag stolen.
Gosh, had a great lead heading for third base on that. And, of course, with Schmidt being a batter on the right side, it kind of blocks the catcher's ability to get that throw effectively down to the third baseman. So we'll see what we do here. 0-1 is the count on A.J. Schmidt. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be way outside. No go on the second baseman there for Cows for that time. Evens up the count 1-1.
Cardinals are playing their third baseman right on the bag for a throw, but that creates a hole a big hole in that shortstop hole. So,
and you know that Dawson Bond sees that hole there and wants to do what he can to score the center field for the
goes.
Tigers. There he goes from second base again. He's going to be down, and here goes.
He's got a chance to go.
And throw goes on into right left field, and now Cows is going to score from third base. He made it easily to third base on the stolen base. Cows made it easily to third base on the stolen base. They threw down to third base, and the ball was misplayed by the third baseman and went out into left field. Cows scored from third base. Yeah. Tigers now lead 5-3 here in the top of the seventh.
And that's where you want to utilize that speed game, Aaron. He created a rush throw to third, and then Cows, no hesitation, he was waved home by Erickson. Gets a big second run, an insurance run for the Tigers here.
A.J. Schmidt, Dawson Bonds. Oh, no, A.J. Schmidt at the plate. Pitch is on the outside now. It evens up the count at 2-2. 2 out now. Top of the seventh inning. Tigers have now taken 2-run lead here in the top of the seventh inning. They lead 5-3 against Clarinda. A.J. Schmidt now at the plate. 2-2 count. Nobody on the bases for the Tigers. Pitch comes. Oh, it's called on the outside corner for strike number 3. That's a called third strike, and it's a third out for the inning.
Are we going to keep it here, Aaron, between innings? Yeah, let's keep it here.
We're going to keep it right here because this is an exciting baseball game. Let's set it up for you. We're going into the bottom of the seventh inning. Clarinda is the home team. Red Oak has just taken a 2-run lead going into that, but Clarinda is going to go into the seventh inning at the top of their lineup with Mr. Taden Brown. Brown so far tonight has struck out in the first inning by a called third strike, and he flew out to right field, and he reached on the base on balls in the fourth inning. Yeah. So you've got the best of the best right here.
Yeah, I think what we see here, Tigers 3 outs from a district final, but those 3 out stands we know in baseball, they are the toughest 3 to get.
That's right.
And as we said all game, Taden Brown is a table setter. Every leadoff batter, every inning is key, but more so than any inning, this is definitely an important first batter here. This can set the tone for this inning with Taden Brown up. So AJ's out here. AJ going to the seventh inning. I'm not sure if this might be AJ's longest outing of the season so far. So all on the line here for the Tigers and the Cardinals. As we go in the bottom of the seventh.
It's been all AJ Smith the whole game. He's had 6 strikeouts recorded tonight, and he's got to get 3 more important outs. Hopefully to get the Tigers to advance down the tournament trail. Like I said, it's all here in these next 3 outs to see what they're going to do, whether or not you extend your season or you go home for the rest of the year.
Red Oak Tigers trying to do something they haven't done. I don't know how long it's been from a district title, but it's certainly been at least, I would say, 15, 20 years. Someone I have to have head coach Michael Nordine do that. He's my history research guy. I'll have him research that for me.
A.J. Schmidt meets with the rest of his infielders on the mound. They have a quick meeting, and here he approaches the top of the mound to go up against Taden Brown for Clarinda. Brown is the second baseman, and he's waiting for Schmidt's first offer. Comes in the outside corner, called for a strike. Schmidt takes the advantage early in the count. His no balls, 1 strike against Taden Brown. Nobody out here, bottom of the seventh inning. Red Oak 5, Clarinda 3. Next offering from Schmidt comes in. A little bit outside, mishandled by the catcher, and it's going to be 1 ball, 1 strike.
As we talked at the top of the game, you want to force the Cardinals to beat you with the hit. You don't want to give anything free away here, so you got to attack here on the pitching.
Schmidt gets ready and is coming in with the next offering. Goes in the outside corner, but misses, and 2 balls, 1 strike now against Brown. Thank you for joining us here on the YouTube channel. It's been exciting bringing you this game here live from Clarinda tonight. Red Oak Tigers 5, Clarinda Cardinals 3, bottom of the seventh inning. Next pitch comes in, a little bit outside, count 3-1.
And I think AJ's been living on that off-speed stuff. I think here you want to just go fastball down the middle and say, here it is. Hit it if you can.
Yeah, and he's going to have to rely on his defense to help him get through these next 3 outs. The next pitch comes in straight down the middle. Strike number 2 is called in the full count.
3-2. Brown has not offered it a pitch yet.
Ronnie Weidman was running towards the plate, thought it was going to be his turn, but going to have to wait now as the count goes full.
Big pitch here, Dan.
A.J. Schmidt comes in with the pitch, and it's a drive to right field. It's going to fall in for a hit. It's a nice hit by Taden Brown right there. Yep. Drives it into right field for a single.
He made him earn a good hit there by Taden. He just took the pitch where it was thrown outside and went with it. Got the hit, but that's from a Tigers perspective, make him earn his way. And now you got a thought of the big run game. Brown 26 of 27 for stolen base, and here comes Coach Erickson out to the mound to talk to his team.
Short break in the action here is Ronnie Weidman is going to be the next batter for Clarinda. He's the right fielder. Where's number 8?
I think Coach Erickson here wants to talk about what's going to happen with the base rating, what they're going to do, what they don't want to do. I don't think you're going to see Dan and Clarinda in any sacrifice. They can't give up outs down 2 runs here. So you're looking straight steal. I think this is all about a meeting about how we're going to handle this base running threat with Brown.
It's an exciting ball game. It's got the Roller Tigers up on Clarinda Cardinals 5-3 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. There's nobody out. Clarinda has a base runner now at first base, and Taden Brown. Ronnie Weidman, he flew out to center field in the first inning. In the 3rd inning, he reached on the base on balls and was put out 3 unassisted in the 4th inning by Braden Woods. Nobody out, runner at first, and we're going to leave Schmidt on the mound, and he's going to face Ronnie Weidman for the Clarinda Cardinals.
And the conversation, Dan, might have been, hey, we know Brown's going to get down in second. Let's focus on the batter because you can get distracted with the pitching. So
Schmidt checks the runner, brings the first pitch in, and it's a called for a strike against Weidman. No balls, 1 strike against Weidman. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Taden Brown is the runner at first base. He takes a decent lead off first base. Checked by Schmidt. Brings in this next pitch. There goes Brown. It's going to be fouled back, out of play for strike number 2. And Brown will have to go back to first base.
I guess that was a hit and run. I'm not sure if it was a straight steal or hit and run there, but 0-2 count there.
0-2 is the count against Ronnie Weidman. He's the right fielder for Clarinda. He's looking for his first hit tonight. Taden Brown on first base. Weidman calls for timeout and is granted. Schmidt's on the mound waiting to deliver the next pitch. No balls, 2 strikes on Weidman, nobody out. Here Schmidt checks the runner at first base, and in comes the pitch. Brings it in. It's going to be back to Schmidt. Schmidt's going to pick up the ball and throw it on to first base for this first out of the inning. That moves Brown to second base.
Good job by A.J. there. He stopped that like a hockey goalie with his feet, but had the composure to pick it up and throw to first. Coach Erickson, I don't know if he can come out and check on him or if they're going to go to a different pitcher here. I think this is
Cole Baumgart's going to be the scheduled hitter for Clarinda. He's the shortstop, and they're going to meet together at the mound. They're probably to check more nothing to the physical.
Well, I think they're going to. I think that's it for AJ.
Okay. He hands the ball off to Brett Erickson. It looks like that's the position we're going to make.
What an effort by AJ Schmidt, getting a good effort. Man, I tell you what, 6 1/3 innings, and he battled, and what a great effort he gave on the mound tonight for the Tigers. And nothing that young man be proud tonight. He'll sleep well tonight. But Brett Erickson now coming in to try to get the last 2 outs.
He's going to trade
and he's
position.
going to have a tough road to hoe because he's going to have Mr. Cole Baumgart at the plate. And he has done nothing, Dan, but hit the ball hard all night long.
Got a single in the first inning and a single in the 3rd inning. And then he flew out to right field in the 5th inning. So we're going to see what Brett Erickson can do here. Testament to just the heart that A.J. Schmidt has. He's all ball player. You get out there and give it everything he got tonight. He put his team in a good position to stay in the game and did everything he could. Leaves the game with a 2-run lead with a runner at second base and 1 out up on the board. So we're going to bring in Brett Erickson on the mound here. He's going to trade field positions with A.J. Schmidt at third base.
And we'll see what the Tigers do offensively here, outfield-wise, Dan. They may move their outfielders back a little bit more. Here's an area you don't want to worry about the front. You want to worry about that deep hit. So we'll see what they do. Callis, of course, has got the speed, Dan, in center field. He can get back on the ball pretty quick. But it looks like they moved Bond back a little bit in right, and they moved Byer back a little bit in left. Because Baumgart's going to he's proven he's got power.
Right.
He can drive the ball. So.
And of course, the center fielder does have a better read on the ball that's hit off the bat of any of the outfielders, and that is an advantage. Plus, when you have the speed of Landon Callis out there, you've got the ability to run down a lot of balls that are hit out in this direction.
So Erickson and AJ have switched positions. AJ Schmidt's now at third, and Brett Erickson on the mound trying to close this out for district championship for the Tigers.
Get your popcorn ready, folks. This is what it's all about. Tigers up with a 2-run lead, 1 out in the bottom of the 7th inning. Runner at second for Clarinda, and that brings up Cole Baumgart for Clarinda, the shortstop. And the first pitch from Erickson comes in, and it's mishandled by the catcher, and it's going to allow it's going to allow Brown to go to third base.
Yeah, ball's a little bit low in the dirt there. and gets the runner over to third here. So,
but to his advantage now for Mr. Erickson, that run at third means nothing. They're down 2 runs, and he just needs to get the outs. So he'll come after Cole Baumgart now with a count of 1 ball and no strikes. Erickson gets ready. Here comes the first pitch. Comes in a little bit low for ball number 2.
And Marson, over the top thrower. I mean, he's not a tall pitcher, but he comes over the top with that throw. And again, a different look than what the Cardinals have seen the same way as when they came in. A little short there in the pitch.
A little short on that one, about a 58-footer, so it comes in for count is now 3 balls, no strikes.
It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to put Baumgart on first, but yet you put that tying run on the base, but he's dangerous at the plate.
Next pitch comes in. It's also outside. It's going to put Baumgart on first base on a base on ball. So now we got runners at first and third with 1 out. And that's going to bring up Andrew Jones. He's a first baseman. Jones grounded out to short in the first inning. He got a single in the third inning.
Drove in 2 runs with that.
Yeah, and then he has got it grounded out to second base in the 5th inning. So Andrew Jones is up at the plate for Clarinda. And like I said, he approaches the plate and stands on the inside part of the box here. He really crowds the plate.
Big spot here for Mr. Jones. He's had a big night so far.
First pitch comes in a little bit high, ball number 1.
Erickson has not been able to find a strike zone yet.
Brett Erickson on the mound, runners at first and third.
There goes the second. Going to go second. There will be no throw.
And Cole Baumgart advances to second base, and now we got runners at second and third. That potential tying run now at second base in scoring position. And Andrew Jones with a count of 2 balls, no strikes at the plate. Pitch comes in.
There's a strike.
And there's a called first strike right down the middle on Andrew Jones from Brett Erickson.
Base hit here drives in 2, Dan.
So Erickson's going to have to do what he can to control the pitches here. Brings it in, and it's fouled off at the plate by Andrew Jones. It's going to even the count at 2-2 with runners at second and third.
And also Carson Rodero's going to need to block those pitches with those base runners on there. So
everybody's stepping up the defense. This is where the game's – it's all the marbles right here. Brett Erickson on the mound. He's looking at a 2-2 count against Andrew Jones. Erickson checks the runners, gets the sign from the catcher, checks the runners, and now the pitch comes in, floats in a curveball that goes a little bit outside for ball number 3.
Normally that'd be a high pitch, but you got a tall batter in there. That was almost a strike.
Very tall batter, and
that was close to being a strike there.
Makes me wonder. Erickson gets ready, and here he comes to the pitch. And it's going to be a foul ball straight back, and we'll do it all again. Erickson gets a new ball. Andrew Jones gets back into the plate with runners at second and third, with 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Tigers up 5-3.
Cardinals are threatening.
Erickson gets the call from the catcher, comes in with the pitch,
Foul ball.
And fouled off.
Just hung in there. Jones doing a good job hanging in there, fouling off pitches.
He's looking for one that he can drive somewhere. He wants to drive those 2 runners home.
Jones is
Erickson on the mound. He's ready to go. He doesn't pay a whole lot of attention to the runners. He wants to get this out at home plate.
Here comes.
Watches the runner at third, tries to deke him. He brings the pitch in.
Another foul ball.
Fallback. Oh, I thought
Aaron, get out from underneath the table. Goodness, it's just a baseball.
Aaron West had that covered. He was all over it. He was going after it.
Did you see that move?
I saw it. That was a good move.
Yeah.
Aaron's okay.
Aaron,
come out.
You didn't have to take off your coat and everything else in order to get to the plate, so you were ready for it. Erickson's got the ball now, and he's ready for the pitch. Here it comes in. And it's a hit hard down the third base line, but foul. And Jones was all over that pitch.
Jones is timing up. He's just missing. When you miss a pitch like that, one previous pitch went right straight back, you know he's timing it well. So Erickson may have to go to something off speed here. If he can get that off speed pitch over, he's got a chance to get Jones here.
Erickson good for the pitch. Here it comes in. Jones is going to ground it to shortstop. Shortstop up, throws it to first base, and he overthrows the first baseman. Not only is the run from third going to score, the run from second's going to score. Andrew Jones goes on to second base on the error.
The game is tied up just like that. I just think that was another one of those thoughts that too much time on the throw, and the throw sailed high. This game is all tied up. The runner's on second now. Yeah, I hate to see that, but easy.
Unprecedented third error of the game on Dawson Bond. Just an overthrow to first base caused both runners on base to score.
Yeah, and I think
sometimes Jones to go on to second.
Sometimes you just, Dawson's a tremendous pitcher, but sometimes you just got to throw the gas, and I think he's trying to be too cautious there. But Tigers are still in this game. Tied up, one out, runner on second.
One out here. Runner
But Cardinals taking advantage there. They come right back and they tie this game up.
Right. Making a great game, a great night for baseball here. Been a good game played by both sides. And got runner at second, only one out. Let's see if the Cardinals can complete this this rally, score another run, and put a one in the win column. Brett Erickson done with the meeting on the mound. Coach Erickson's walking back to the dugout. That's going to bring up number 2, James McCall. He's a third baseman. McCall reached on an error in the second inning and was struck out in the third inning, and then reached on an error in the fifth inning.
They're
going to place him on base. It'll be an automatic walk for James McCall.
That run means nothing because it's a runner on second that counts. This sets up a potential double play situation. It'll bring up Tuzio to the plate. Tuzio's 0 for 3 on the night, Dan.
Tuzio struck out in the second inning. He grounded out to third base in the third inning. And the
pinch runner is going to go in
the sixth inning.
At second.
Pitch runner is going to be number 10, Cooper Phillips. He's a sophomore. And he's going to go in to run at second base, the potential winning run of the game. Runners at first and second, one out. Tie ball game here in the bottom of the seventh inning. It's Clarinda and Red Oak tied at 5. Tuzio talking to the home plate umpire about the switch being made out in the field. Brett Erickson waiting on the mound. He's got one out to work with. Runners at first and second, trying to put an end to the Clarinda rally. We're tied up here in the bottom of the seventh inning. It's an exciting ball game. Thanks for joining us on the KCSI YouTube channel. Brett Erickson looking in, getting the sign. Now he's going to look back and check the runner at second base. Erickson's pitch comes in. It's going to be on the inside.
Just misses him.
Just misses the batter.
Tuzio, that's the second time now I think Tuzio thinks he's been hit by a pitch.
Well,
he might have been. I don't know, but he's still in the batter's box.
He wants to do something with the pitch. He's not going to take a hit. So second pitch comes in inside as well. The count quickly goes to 2-0 on Tuzio. Brett Erickson on the mound for the Tigers.
Cardinals one hit away here from winning the district championship.
Runners at first and second, one out. Erickson's pitch comes in, and it's down the middle, but a little bit low. 3 balls, no strikes.
So I think I think Creighton will take one here, make it. You take a pitch here for sure, I think.
Brett Erickson's here. Here's the pitch, comes in, and he
strike.
takes it, and it's a called strike right on the inside corner of the plate. 3-1 is the count. 3 balls, 1 strike against Tuzio for Clarinda. We're in the bottom of the seventh inning. Runners at first and second in a tie ball game with 1 out. Erickson looks in, gets the sign. Now the pitch comes in, and it's going to be another ball that's going to give the base to Tuzio, and we're going to have bases loaded with Clarinda Cardinals.
Leland Woodruff is up, so the Cardinals with a golden chance here to win the game and to win the district title. With only 1 out, the bases loaded.
So far tonight, Woodruff struck out twice and flew out to center field.
The Tigers will play their infield in, Dan. They're in at all positions here. You got to do that to cut that run down. But the best thing here would be try to get a strikeout. That's the best option for the Tigers here if they can.
Erickson's pitch.
Fly ball out, center field.
We're out to center field. The Cal's got a beat on it. He's got it. He's
There's
throwing the ball back in.
No
the
throw.
Runner at third base was off the base. The runner at third base was not waiting for the catch. He had to retreat to the base. By that time, Landon Kaus brought the throw into home plate. There is no score. Tigers, the bases are still full of Clarinda Cardinals, and now 2 out in the bottom of the seventh.
Third base runner instinct is to break back on that pitch to the bag. He broke to the home plate, and by the time he recovered, as you mentioned, Dan, the third, Kaus made the catch. But here up the plate is a dangerous hitter.
Caden Butt, the center fielder, number 32 for Clarinda Cardinals.
Base is still loaded.
First pitch goes outside for ball number 1. Caden hit out a single in the second inning and 2 RBI. He's the one who hit the triple in the fifth inning or fourth inning and then was tagged out trying to score.
Strike there.
Called strike for Erickson. The count is now 1-1 with 2 outs here, bottom of the seventh inning. Bases are full of Cardinals, but now 2 outs in the bottom of the seventh with a tie ball game. Erickson on the mound looking in, brings in the pitch. It's a little bit high on that. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Carson's got a good rotor, needs to do a good job here to block the plate. Butts here in a good hitting count, 2-1.
Here we go. Erickson brings the pitch in a little bit high. Count is 3-1 now.
3-1.
Can't afford to block him because he doesn't have any place to put him.
Yeah, you got to put this one right down in the middle plate here. We'll see what happens. Here it is. This could be the game.
Takes the pitch. He looks in and delivers.
He called time. he should not. He was granted time in the last second there.
That's the third time tonight that I've seen the umpire call grant timeout when the pitcher was in motion.
that was a pretty late call. But here we go, 3-1 pitch.
Erickson's ready to pitch. Here we go with the count of 3-1, and the call comes in.
And that's ball game.
And that's ball 4. That's going to walk the batter, and that's our ball game. Your final score here at Municipal Stadium in Clarinda is the Clarinda Cardinals 6, Red Oak Tigers 5, and it will be a very good ball game tonight. And Clarinda Cardinals launch a rally here in the 7th inning to score 3 runs and win the game 6-5. Well, Matt, it doesn't get much better than this when it comes to playoff baseball.
Yeah, if you're Red Oak Tiger, heartbreak. But if you're Clarinda Cardinal, boy, what a comeback. They get, 3 runs there in the bottom of the 7th, and they get the district title. And the Clarinda Cardinals will advance on to the, I guess it'd be the sub-state championship game, I guess.
Yep, they got one more win to get to the state championship.
And the winner of that will go on to state. But a great season by the Red Oak Tigers, and I know there's a lot of seniors out there, especially who are crestfallen by that. But
and it's a nice gesture by both sides. All the crowd is on their feet, applauding a really good ball game. The Clarinda Cardinals are out there waiting to greet the Red Oak Tigers. Of course, the Tigers a little bit down because of how this game came about. But a good ball game nonetheless, and treated the crowd to exactly what we were talking about before we started.
Yeah, we saw a game where the Clarinda manager got ejected from the game. The Cardinals got on top. 3-1. The Tigers rallied and then got on top, and then the Cardinals came back there. But a lot of great efforts, Danny. I thought A.J. Schmidt was outstanding on the mound. Did a great job there. And Creighton Tuzio did the same thing for them. And close ball game. And one team's got to go home.
Right. And, it's too bad, I see Brett Erickson is really kind of beating himself up out there. But, when you're putting in that pressure situation like that, especially cold, after a job that A.J. Schmidt did all game long, and it was your kids have to step up in the key positions. But I'm glad to see that the Tigers can walk off this field with their heads held high. They fought the hard battle. They did what they could do, and they've had a fantastic season to go by. Like I said, first time we've had a winning season for the Red Oak Tigers for a good number of years. They've got nothing to be ashamed of as far as this game is concerned. We're going to be back after a few words from our sponsors. This is Dan Krause and Matt Davis and Aaron West here at Clarinda Stadium, where Clarinda has just taken this game 6-5 in the bottom of the 7th inning, and we'll be back after a few words from our sponsors.
When you go home, you'll feel good about what you did, and you're doing it for the kids. If they don't have us, they don't have these games.
I would just say Clarinda got on top and Riddle came back.
Welcome back to Clarinda. Aaron West, Matt Davis, Dan Krause.
We had a great game here tonight, folks. That's all I can say about it. Clarinda does come out on top here in the bottom of the 7th inning. They scored 3 runs. They did what they needed to do. But as Matt and I were just talking on the way down here, you talk about a team that it does not have a lot of experience in postseason play, and a team that has a great deal of experience in postseason play. You saw a lot of heart played by both sides tonight. You saw some heartache and heartbreak on the side of the Tigers. They would have very much liked to put this thing away in the 7th inning and walked off the field. But that's baseball. That's why it's the greatest sport there is, and that's why we come here and bring it to you, because you never know what's going to happen, and we're happy that you joined us here tonight. Matt, your final thoughts on the game?
Tough one for Red Oak there, but like you said, a good season overall for the Tigers. But congratulations, the Clarinda Cardinals advancing on, and they'll have a chance. They're one game away from the state tournament, so people in Clarinda are happy tonight.
They've got the tools. They've got the things that's going to need to win the game. But we want to thank you for joining us here on the KCSI YouTube channel. Once again, your final score from Municipal Stadium in Clarinda, Iowa. It's the Clarinda Cardinals 6, Red Oak Tigers 5. This is Matt Davis, Dan Krause, and Aaron West signing off. Thanking you for joining us here on KCSI.
Thanks, Matt and Dan. And one more time, I do want to say thanks to our sponsors that make it possible for us to be here. Davis Taylor Insurance, thanks to those folks in Red Oak. Clarinda Regional Health Center for taking care of our scoreboard this evening. Thanks to all they do for Southwest Iowa. We have Easters here in Clarinda as well. Thanks to the fine folks over there. Stadium 34, Rocky and the folks at Stadium 34 do a great job. Thanks to Rocky and supporting the community. Shore Motor Company, thanks for all they do for Southwest Iowa. And Elizabeth Davison with Farm Bureau. Thanks to Elizabeth for all she does. That's going to do it for us. Thanks to Matt Davis. Thanks to Dan Kraus for doing an excellent job. And that's going to do it for us. And we will see you again tomorrow morning.